to learn more.
In Paris, it's getting better all the time. We're talking about the water quality of a storied river.
Winding through the center of the French capital, the Seine is famously beautiful, yet polluted. For the past 101 years, swimming in it has been banned. The Olympics are to change all that. There's been a major cleanup, not only for the Olympic events that'll start at the ornate Alexander III Bridge, but also for the river to be generally swimmable in future. Heavy rainfall in recent weeks has kept pollution, specifically E. coli, levels high. But the Deputy Mayor, Pierre Rabadan, says that's improving. Regular testing will continue, but he says he's confident the competitions will be viable.
The BBC's Charles Haviland says the river has been declared safe for swimming in 10 of the past 12 days. British police arresting a 26-year-old man suspicion of killing two sisters and their mother in a crossbow attack. Townhall.com. Shorebirds soaring high above New York's beaches do not appreciate this invasion of their airspace by drones, keeping an eye on swimmers and sharks.
Since launching this summer, the police drones have been repeatedly swarmed by flocks of American oyster catchers, forcing pilots to ground the devices on several occasions. Veronica Welsh with the Parks Department says the birds appear to be mistaking the drones for predators.
They will pretty much fly at it. They'll try to swoop at it. They'll be vocalizing the whole time. And it pretty much doesn't stop until the drone goes down.
Wildlife groups fear the beach's other bird species, including endangered piping plovers, could be driven away by the drones. Jake Offenhartz, New York.
Hungary's Prime Minister Viktor Orban has traveled to Florida, where he met with former President Trump, the Prime Minister heading south following the NATO summit in D.C. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
Your SRN program begins in 10 seconds.
And good morning, one and all. Sorry about that little flip of the music there.
Got me all excited.
Get that rectified.
Final Friday countdown.
Too. It's all back to the 80s. But good morning, one and all. Yes. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he.
Ooh.
That is me, Mike Winters. Happy Friday.
Yes.
That's kind of the cool part of I went to a concert and had a day off. Mm-hmm. Come back and it's Friday.
Look at that.
That's kind of cool.
Right? Come back just to wrap things up.
That's right. Just to say, how y'all doing? I'm out.
Everybody good here? All right, good? I'll see you.
That's right. I do the poker dealer. Flip the hands and
good luck, everyone.
That's right. Don't let the door hits me where the good Lord splits me.
Yes. Mike, off enjoying only the finest of 80s and 90s pop music.
It was an entertaining show. I will give you that. I was entertained.
Okay. I mean, you have to find something because otherwise you're just watching paint dry. So you got to get some enjoyment.
Oh yeah, I mean it was.
You're not so hard that you can't enjoy a little New Kids on the Block, Michael.
It was an interesting experience.
Okay.
My wife has a different experience.
I bet. Yeah, it seems like Kim had an entire.
So at some point
experience.
during the morning when she pops in, you'll get her perspective.
Nice.
But my perspective is slightly different than hers. But happy Friday. We will chit chat ad nauseum probably this hour.
Okay.
And maybe into next, depending on how the morning flows.
Mm-hmm.
Here of our trip to Albuquerque to go see. At the Isleta Pavilion, the new kids on the block.
The nuclear on the block.
Yeah. Paula Abdul and a one DJ, Jazzy Jeff. So,
nice.
It was a neat concert, and it was a new experience for me because it's something I didn't realize until I was at the concert happened.
Okay.
And so we'll get into that a little bit. And so it kind of like, oh, it is different. And I'll explain that.
It's always fun to go watch bands that you aren't necessarily like a fan of, but you can get some joy out of it. I remember, and this is a few years back, we went up to the Inn and watched Warrant and Winger.
Ooh.
Yeah, like I'm not exactly a huge fan of either one of those bands, but I had a blast.
Yeah.
And half the time I was like, "Oh, that was them. That's right." It's. You go through a bunch of those.
Although I'm not going to lie, because you mentioned Warrant and Winger. Apparently, Winger is coming to one of the casinos here. I don't know if it's Buffalo Thunder or one of the Albuquerque concert venues. They're having, and I've seen the commercial a couple dozen times. It's Kip Winger or Winger. I think it's just Winger. I don't think it's just Kip. It's Winger and Lita Ford.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm not gonna lie. If someone said you want to go see Lita Ford, I say yes, I do.
Yes, just out of sheer morbid curiosity.
I was a young boy in the '80s, and I don't care what Lita Ford could have been singing Tibetan throat singing, and she would have been popular. Just saying.
Now the question is, does Kip Winger join her on stage for a rendition of "Close My Eyes Forever"?
God, I hope not. Because
don't ruin it.
Because and the part that gets you, because let's face it, one of the biggest hits of Winger was 17.
Yeah.
They had a couple other songs, Headed for a Heartbreak, Madeline. There's a couple others that got radio play, but 17 was the high water mark of Winger. And so the first clip out of the commercial right out of the gate is a Kip Winger, circa now, singing "She's Only 17."
Oh.
And it just doesn't hit right.
It certainly. It's sort of like, and he retired the song shortly before he passed, but Benny Mardones, his I can't remember the name of the song offhand, but he has that song, "She's Just 16 years old."
Yeah.
Yeah, they said leave her alone. I bet they did. And that's way worse when you're like 73.
All those young love songs, they're suddenly having to retire them.
Yeah, I think...
our young love was too young, apparently. We can't sing about those anymore.
It was inappropriate then. It's horrible now.
Yeah, then it was just, it's young love. Now it's like, this is creepy. Someone should have been arrested. But we did have and we'll talk a little bit about it. I had some fun, and I don't know why this blows me away, but it does. I ordered a soft serve ice cream because we all know my affinity for soft, and I was expecting a cone of soft serve ice cream.
Sure.
What I got was like one of those Go packs, like they give kids in their lunch boxes.
Like a Go-Gurt?
Yeah, and I'm like, all right. And so I unscrewed my Go-Gurt, sat down, and I was like, by golly, it sure is soft serve ice cream. And I enjoyed it, but I did miss the cone.
Can I tell you, every single time, and I mean every time, without fail, that I've ordered Dippin' Dots, I have been disappointed.
Yeah.
Number one, because it's not an enjoyable ice cream experience.
So yeah, it always looks better than it actually is.
Exactly. And number two, because there's only this much of it.
Yeah.
I paid $8 for a thing of Dippin' Dots, and you gave me 2 spoonfuls.
Like a Dippin' Shot.
Yeah. It's Dippin' Shots, exactly.
That's what they were. So, but yeah. So the Go-Gurt thing, granted, it was, I downed it in 1.2 seconds, but it was pretty good.
What's funny is the exact opposite of that is true for Mexican restaurants. If you go to a Mexican restaurant and you order a Coke and they bring you a can of Coke with a cup of ice, you're like, oh, this is going to be good. As soon as that happens, I'm like, oh, this is because they haven't focused on their soda.
Right.
They're focused on what's happening in the kitchen.
Sure.
So you know you're about to have a good meal.
And by the way, everyone kept telling me about the $10 waters and all that. And they yes, those do exist.
Sure.
And yes, I did buy a $10 water. However, there is a workaround. If you don't mind soda.
When
I got there, we ordered and I got a pretzel and I got a soda in a souvenir cup.
Okay.
It was $10, but it was free refill.
Nice. Do they have like the freestyle?
No,
or was
you
it
had to go up and get it, and then they'd fill it for free.
See, because the question I had was, if you go the soda route, because then you could do sparkling water and still get your water fix if that's something you wanted.
Yeah, no. You have to go up and order from a person, and they fill it with a beverage, a Pepsi product.
They're going to shame you with how quickly you finished your beverage.
Oh, I don't care.
I'll get you another one.
Like, it's 800 degrees out here, and people are, getting their swerve on. Got to hydrate. So I only drank like 1 or 2 waters and pretty much probably drank a gallon of Diet Pepsi because it was free refills. And I'm not a big public drinker because I see what happens in public drinking, so I don't. So I just watched and drank what I actually felt like I got my $10 worth of soda because I hit it like 3 or 4 times.
Right. And it's never a good idea to combine heavy drinking and that much heat.
Oh, yeah. But
dehydration sets. Oh, I know they do. I have a vivid memory of going to a Def Leppard concert, and the guy who was my ride home was getting was going off to get $18 Jaeger bomb shots.
Yeah. And I saw something, and I don't know what they charge for it, but it might be a value. Maybe. I saw a couple people. Okay, they were women. And they were carrying what looked like, I'm going to say what holds maybe a pint's worth of liquid.
Sure.
And apparently it looked like it was filled with hard liquid, and it had a little screw-on shot dispenser, and they poured it, and they would then screw it back on. And they were selling them there at the venue.
Really?
Yeah. Huh. I don't know exactly what the liquid was, but it looked shot-like. It didn't look like a mixed drink, per se.
They check you at the door for any kind of liquids, right? Like you couldn't bring
you got to go
water
through gauntlets of
security
to get in there. You're allowed to bring water in.
Are you?
Unopened. Like you can bring
so you couldn't have like a Stanley cooler or something like that.
No, but you could bring like 2 unopened bottles of water per person or something. Something like that. I don't remember the rules on it, but yeah, you could bring sealed water in if you wanted to.
So all you do is they don't check the seal.
I don't know. I didn't have one. So
just dump out the water, fill it with vodka.
Yeah. I imagine they probably do.
Responsible choice.
Like if your bottle looks like it's been opened, they probably will check it. Say, wow, this doesn't smell like water.
Ayana in the chat said they should change it to, she's just 60 years old.
What a time to turn in.
AARP just called.
But, and I will say this, we ponied up for Premier Parking. That was smart.
Yeah? Because that parking lot is massive.
Yes. And with Premier Parking, we literally parked, 50 feet from the little official entrance to the Journal Pavilion there?
That's real good.
So we were right there.
Now, how premier was this parking? Like, how much did you pay for it?
$50.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ha.
Well, after ponying up $200 to park my car in Galveston, $50 didn't seem so bad.
It really is a perspective thing.
When I got up the top of that damn hill after the concert, I was thankful I paid that $50.
I understand. That is, and I get what they're going for, but that is the worst design of a concert venue because you have that massive hill, which is a great thing when you walk in, first thing, but you're not tired when you first get to a concert.
Sure.
You're exhausted after the fact, and now I got to traverse up a mountain.
Well, now you're tired when you get into the concert because depending on how early you got, if you sit out there baking the sun for an hour, and then you get to your seat, you're like, I'm still hot.
Like, oh, now I got to go get drinks.
And this is where I'm also very thankful that my wife doesn't sit in the cheap seats because we were in section 1 in the thing. We were 8 rows back. From the action. Kim's sister was even closer, but that's another story. I'm sure. I never seen my wife. Like, maybe I have, but I don't recall seeing many times where my wife was like showing visible signs of jealousy on something. But her sister because all right, pull back the curtain. Kim's sister is friends with the morning show on the Peak.
Magic.
No, it's the Peak.
Oh, it's the Peak.
It's the Peak. Yeah, it's the Peak. I realized
that's why
yesterday.
we couldn't find it. Okay,
yeah, it's the Peak. It's she's friends with they have like a, I don't know if it's a 3-person morning show team or something, but
usually it's 2 dudes in a hole.
She's friends. I think mostly friends with the female, and I can't remember her name. I apologize. And I've met them. They're very nice people. But so of course, being there, the Peak in Albuquerque, New Kids on the Block, they get tickets and passes and all that, And so
that's what it's like to work at a radio station with a promotions department.
So I just like that promotions. I just have a department of some kind. It doesn't have to be promotion. Just a department.
Just a department.
It was actually a department. But anyway, so they got meet and greet, and they were in the VIP. She was literally in the front row, like sitting up front. But back to my point, the thankfulness of that, because at the time that concert starts, and by the time they let you into the seating area, our section was in shade.
Nice.
So we were in the sun for any of the concert.
Awesome. Yeah, the worst part about lawn seating is there is literally not a tree to be seen on that lawn.
50-year-old me was very thankful for that. So, but I will say this before I get into the devils and the details. That concert was filled to the rafters. I've been to several concerts at that pavilion, and some big name bands, Van Halen, a few others.
Def Leppard,
60 Def Leppard, yeah. But I think the New Kids was even more packed. Like when by the time New Kids came on and they were doing their thing, and I finally looked back and saw the crowd, I was like, wow, there was a lot of people there. And here's the thing. 99%
years old was the median age. No.
Close. 99% of them were women in their 40s and 50s.
40s and 50s. That's the target demo.
Dressing like when they were in their 80s and 90s. Acting like they were in the 80s and 90s.
Oh, the 80s. Okay, I was like, they were all in bloomers?
Yeah, no. They were dressed
like...
and they were encouraged to wear...
Shoulder off.
Well, they were encouraged to wear neon.
Okay.
Yeah, as the promotional emails came and said, because they're calling it their Magical Summer Tour or something like that. Wear neon at the Magical Summer Tour, and and so a lot of them were black with neon light. Others were full on neon. But here's the thing: they were wearing outfits for 20-year-olds. But when you're 40 and 50. Don't look good.
It's hard to pack in the same amount of material into those.
Don't look good
into those clothes.
There was acres of spandex that simply did not deserve that kind of treatment.
Lycra made a killing that night.
I'm just saying. I walked around. I'm like, this is what the end of days looks like.
I'm picturing the top, like lower shoulders, like frilly, but neon green.
And to be honest, at the beginning, it's kind of cute, and you're funny, and you're laughing. But by the time the new kids get on the block, get on the stage, they've had a couple of those pint little liquor shot jobbers.
Yeah. They go from hey to woo.
Oh my gosh. It was the funniest, saddest, and scariest thing I've seen all at the same time. It was literally, and I know I'm now 50, so I look like these people. But part of me says this is what happens when grandma and grandpa's medication wears out. It was literally like I'm seeing people that look even older than me doing gangsta and I'm just like, what is going on here, Harry?
Dude, I've said this before, but we are so close. We are so close to that era of the Dr. Dre gang-banging thug being in their 50s now.
I know.
And calling everybody young blood, but still dressing like that. You go to one of those shows, that's basically what you saw, but for the opposite sex.
Yeah. it was wild, man. I'm just like, they got drunker and they got more. And then, to the love of fans of New Kids on the Block, to the of people like me, halfway during their show or during the middle of the New Kids on the Block show, Donnie says something like, "Hey, can we come visit you guys?" And literally all the new kids come out off stage and go into the crowd.
Oh, they're coming in.
Yes.
Yikes.
And so if you're familiar with the pavilion there, is the pavilion. There's the low bowl section. Then there's that little highway there. Then a higher section of seats. And then the grassy.
Then the lawn, yeah.
Lawn knoll part. So in that little section between the lower section and the upper section, kind of a main thoroughfare for people to get in and out of the pavilion there.
Right.
So they first go up to there, and by each of the entrances down to the lower bowl, they had these little stands. They kind of went in and they had neon lights, and so they each sang from there a part of a song.
Okay.
And then they came into the crowd.
Oh, wow.
And started singing. But they came through the crowd, and all them lycra wearing neon now buck 2 bills, 3 bills instead of 1 bill come through there.
Just each of them trying just to touch a hem of the garment.
It's like, Stampede! Look out!
They just put crab legs out on the
buffet! and thank God we were on the aisle. Like Kim and I, we were in the last 2 seats. So Kim got prime real estate a touching and groping.
Yeah, I was, from some of the videos she posted, she was, I mean, you guys were from me to you.
Yeah, and so the highlight of her night was she got to touch I think all 4 of them. She'll tell you. She'll tell you for sure.
She goes, I'm never going to wash this hand again.
And I think it's Joey. Was literally like from me to Sean singing, and Kim was right next to me. And he's high-fiving and fist bumping. Everybody just looked at him. I didn't reach a fist out. I was like, no, not doing that.
You're like, I won't do it.
Yeah.
Nope, not going to
do it. And then full back of the curtain, while this is going on, there's copious amounts of women in spandex and lycra groping and touching various things of these 4 gentlemen. And so I'm like, nope, no pictures of me doing that.
How are you this emotionally moved? By the way, the picture that I saw of the NKOTB on the stage with the 5.
That's at the beginning when they come out, I think.
NSYNC called, they want their gimmick back. Because if you remember the No Strings Attached album, that was their whole thing. They all were all like packaged like they were action figures.
NSYNC
wants their gimmick back, thanks.
I'm pretty sure they all do it. I'm sure if you went to a 98 Degrees concert, you'd see the exact same thing. I think that's the official entrance of 90 boy bands.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was cool looking. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the production value was on point.
I got to know.
Yeah.
I'm picturing the in my head, the lights, did they then go, oh, was that how they opened it?
No.
Really?
No. It was way more intense than that. It was, I don't even, to be honest, I have to ask Kim. I don't know what song they started with, but it was.
I'm surprised you weren't taking notes of set list.
Well, because they literally started, and I don't know what she caught in the video, but they have the TV animation, and there's like this high-rise stage that's in front of that.
Okay.
And Paul Abdul used it, and DJ did not need it. And then the New Kids on the Block used it. But they start out, and they kind of have like an anime cartoon version of them, and it's like, they're doing all, and they show like a silhouette, and then they show their face in like this anime cartoon, Donnie, Joey, the other guys.
Yeah, I don't know that's names. The only ones I remember.
Jordan, I think is one of them.
Yeah, Jordan, I think is one. Yeah,
and I can't remember the
Jordan
other.
Knight. Yep, you're right.
And then there's one more, and I can't remember his name.
More.
Well, there's Donnie, there's Joey.
Yeah.
There's Jordan, and I don't know the other one. The other guy,
Axel and Tim.
Hortense. I have no idea. But anyway, so they show that, and then of course the crowd goes up, and then they shoot them up through the thing, and you see the black silhouette of them standing there, and that's the crowd.
Right.
All of a sudden, the articles of clothing drop in the world. Everyone goes nuts, and then they kind of they light it up, and then they start singing, and then they walk in unison down the stage and do their thing.
Now, I've seen a couple of my other friends on Facebook went to this concert, and I've seen a couple of pictures and videos. I'm just curious, are they just blurry people? Like, are they just blurry? Because I've not seen a high-resolution shot of them. So I just assumed that they've hit a certain age and they're just blurry now.
No, they kind of, and they shirtless a lot. Or some of them are.
What?
They're
shirtless?
So much shirtless.
Really?
Donnie pulled his shirt off 77 times during the show. Donnie, there's two of them, really. Joey kept clothed, and the guy I don't know.
You know what you're doing, Donnie.
Who's the one that's kind of looks a little older, and he's more kind of, he looks more, like, he looks literally like, when he's not doing New Kids on the Block, he's literally like part of a wrecking crew for Joey Pants or something like that.
I'm not sure.
There's one of them, and he's kind of cut a little bit.
He's like the Joey Fatone of their group.
Yeah, but he's more in shape than Joey Fatone is. I got text from my wife. Hold on.
Okay.
Danny?
Yeah.
Maybe that's the one.
That's probably it.
Is Danny the buff one? She's on her way. I'm on my way. Danny.
Stop this conversation. I'll be there in 5.
So,
speaking of, I gotta go do a thing. But
but anyway, that one and Donnie were so many times taking off their shirts.
Jeez.
And Donnie still looks good. It's a little jealous.
Yeah. I understand.
And there's more. I got way more. So
I
let's
play the weather and all.
Yeah, and I was going to play an interview this hour. I don't know if I'm going to even get to it, to be honest. Sheriff Mike Harrington's scheduled to join us next hour, and then in the 9 o'clock hour, we're going to replay our interview we had with the Chaves County Federated Republican Women, talking about their next meeting, which is next Wednesday at the Convention and Civic Center. So we'll replay that for you about 9:15. It is 7:30. Let's go ahead and get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We've got dry air back over eastern New Mexico, so little or no chance of rain for the upcoming weekend. Pretty hot today. We'll be in the upper 90s and sunny with fairly light wind. Overnight will be clear with upper 60s and low 70s, and then sunny and hot again on Saturday. Upper 90s for the high. It looks like we'll be up around 100 with sunshine coming up for Sunday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 70 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 44%. Winds are calm at the moment. Sunny today. Expect a high of 98 degrees. Winds will be out of the south, 5 to 10 miles per hour. For tonight, mostly clear skies with an overnight low of 70. South winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. For you Saturday, sunny, 98 for a high once again tomorrow. Winds out of the south, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, mostly clear with an overnight low of 70 degrees. South winds 5 to 10. It's kind of just, replay for the weather today, tomorrow, and Sunday, because Sunday's more of the same. Sunny and hot, high of 99. Winds out of the south, 5 to 10. Sunday night, mostly clear, overnight low of 70. Then we're back to officially 100 on Monday, under sunny skies. And then it looks like we're still going to be floating right around upper 90s Tuesday, mid to low 90s by midweek of next week. There's also rain chances, like 20, 30% chances of rain starting Tuesday of next week. But somewhere around Wednesday night, our chances bump up to like 30, 40%. So we'll see. We'll see what next week. But for the next couple days, sunny, highs in the upper 90s, and hot. That's pretty much what we got for the weekend here. All right, it is 7:32. Let's take a quick commercial break. We'll pause to pay some bills, and then, of course, we'll be back on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to, let's go ahead and do news as well, too. So we'll do news and then a quick break in news, and then we'll come back. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Strong women need strong partners to help them lead their healthiest lives. At Artesia General Hospital, Dr. Scott Beard and nurse practitioner Lori Crockett deliver compassionate, holistic care to women at every age and stage. From routine checkups to diagnostic testing and specialty services like urogynecology, you can expect the most innovative personalized care close to home. Learn more about women's services at Artesia General Hospital online at artesiageneral.com/women or by calling 575-736-8394. Many women's services are also offered in Carlsbad.
At Richland Motors, it's never been easier to sell or trade your current car, truck, or SUV for a newer model to hit the road in. Even if you don't purchase from Richland, they want to buy your vehicle for top dollar. But if you do buy from Richland, don't forget, they're the home of the powertrain warranty for life. That's a whole lot of confidence for you. See Richland for details. 2nd and Sycamore and 1309 Southeast Main.
Every piece of land has a story, written by those who work it. But everyone's story is different. So the question is, how will you tell yours? Behind the wheel of a John Deere compact tractor, mower, or Gator utility vehicle. Run with us and start telling your story today.
Stop by Pecos Valley Equipment in Artesia and Roswell or visit us online at pecosvalleyequipment.com.
With summer here, it's cool to be at the Cow. The Calico Cow Fabric and Gift Shop is your authorized Brothers Sewing Machine dealer for Southeast New Mexico, and they're all on sale right now at the Calico Cow. New fabric styles for summer are here, and holiday and Christmas fabrics are arriving daily. If you're still stitched to your own machine and you just want a tune-up, call for in-house maintenance 575-639-2586. The Calico Cow Fabric and Gift Shop, 200 East College in Roswell. Want to know how? Come see the Cow.
What made Roswell Hyundai the #1 used car dealership in southeastern New Mexico for 2023? It's simple. Great selection, great savings, and great people. Right now, the lot is loaded with all new Hyundai models, including Elantras, Santa Fe's, and Palisades. And with 0% on select new, 5-year warranty, and 3 years free oil changes on all 2024 models in stock. Now's the time to trade up and save big. So, what makes Roswell Hyundai the #1 used car dealership in southeastern New Mexico? You do. Come check out the all-new and used car supercenter only at Roswell Hyundai, 1909 West 2nd.
Now, your Pecos Valley News Update. I'm Jared Sorello. Street construction to improve pavement and install ADA ramps on Hobbs Street between Southeast Main Street and Sunset Avenue in Roswell is now scheduled to begin July 22nd. This will require the closure of some lanes at various times, but at least one lane in each direction will remain open throughout the work. The project was originally scheduled to begin July 10th. Members of the Navajo Nation will gather this Saturday to mark 45 years since the largest radioactive release in U.S. history. The release took place at Church Rock, July 16, 1979, when a dam ruptured and released more than 1,000 tons of radioactive waste and nearly 95 million gallons of toxic radioactive waste water. That water spilled into the nearby Rio Puerco and surrounded Navajo Nation lands. To this day, communities around the spill experience health problems associated with radiation exposure. A Stanford University study determined that United Nuclear Corporation removed only about 1% of the estimated total spill and resumed normal operations within 5 months. The Church Rock release is the third largest radioactive release globally, behind only the Fukushima disaster in Japan and Chernobyl meltdown in Russia. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
The average U.S. Airbnb host earns around $14,000 a year, but with these tricks, you can earn even more. I'm Kim Commando for Total AV, the award-winning antivirus software that protects you against ransomware. Get a year of protection for just $19 right now at protectwithkim.com. If you're an Airbnb host, you know hidden costs eat right into your earnings. Cleaning fees, supplies, and maintenance can rack up hundreds of dollars a month. Want to maximize your profits? Offer add-ons to your listings. Airport transfers, guided tours, bike rentals, grocery delivery, even cooking classes. These are all services you can charge extra for and tack onto your Airbnb listing. So how do you price them? Start by checking out what similar services cost in your area. Look at local businesses and other listings. Make sure your price covers your costs, like time and supplies, and still gives you a profit. If the service is in demand, you can charge a bit more. Just a few of these add-ons can really boost your net profits. Get solid antivirus protection now at protectwithkim.com. Do you need statistics to finally convince you to bite the bullet and get good antivirus software? Well, here's the cold, hard truth. Ransomware makes up 68% of all cyber attacks. 72% of businesses were attacked by ransomware last year. Phishing scams are the most reported cybercrime in the United States. And last but not least, AI-powered cybercrimes are rumored to make up 85% of these scams. When you're not using antivirus software, you're at major risk, period. Don't wait for the worst to happen. Protect yourself now. My pick for antivirus security software is the award-winning Total AV. Go to protectwithkim.com right now for protection that's just $19 a year. You get antivirus protection up to 5 devices. Go to protectwithkim.com before it's too late. You don't need to be a victim. Go to protectwithkim.com. You'll get great antivirus software at 85% off. That's protectwithkim.com, protectwithkim.com.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The U.S. Treasury once considered producing donut-shaped coins. They instead decided to go with coin-shaped donuts. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 38 minutes after 7 o'clock, and my wife is now here.
The resident expert. She's on 5.
Yeah, she's on 5. I got that one. Turn that one off. There we go. So, so continuing on with our trip.
Well, hold on. Let's back up just a little bit.
All right, let's back up.
Because DJ Jazzy Jeff opened up the show.
Yes.
Yes.
And okay, I have thoughts, and let me share them, and then I'll let Kim say whatever she wants on this. But this is my thoughts on DJ Jazzy Jeff.
Yes.
I don't know why he was there. Well, I guess I do know why he was there.
Right.
But it was because he's a DJ.
Mm-hmm.
His jam world is a club.
Sure.
Where people go to shake their behinds and dance and have fun. And if his job is to warm up the crowd, he nailed it. That he did. But as far as a concert performance, I don't know what that was. Because they literally rolled out his
2 turntables and a microphone.
Yeah,
right.
He rolled that out in his little kit. And then he kind of came out. And I think he said maybe 10 things the whole time.
Really?
He barely spoke.
Okay.
He had a hype man.
Sure.
A younger hype man, probably some guy in his 20s. And he talked and did it. And so basically the whole set of DJ Jazzy Jeff was playing pretty much music of the era. And it's all of the above. Like he's doing everything from Fresh Prince and that. Okay. But then he's doing like TV theme shows. Cheers.
And he was remixing these?
No,
well, he was
playing them.
They were playing the music mostly the way you hear it, but occasionally he'd start, he'd do a little scratching or something.
And then sometimes he would just stop the music to let the crowd finish the lyrics on that.
Did he at least reference Parents? Just don't understand.
Oh, they did. Did they do Parents? No, but they did do the Fresh Prince theme song.
Okay.
That was during a TV medley, and because they were, and I think it was.
Well, that's the big pop moment. That's where he's doing that. Just
but that wasn't the end of the show. I mean,
no, but that's the moment where you get the crowd. Yeah, he did the thing.
And to be honest, his whole set was a big pop moment. It was just pop after pop of these nostalgic things, and so
you said the Cheers theme.
Yes,
they did Cheers.
Yeah, they did.
And then during that.
I'm telling you, it was all over the place.
He let the crowd sing. It was just getting the crowd
and
sing.
the crowd's literally going, everyone knows. So it was, as far as warming up the audience, I think he was awesome. Did a great job for it.
People enjoyed it.
Just for the rest of the concert, it just didn't, I was like, but then again, it's an opening act, and he was, I guess,
and it was
he's a bigger name. Like, for a guy that I'm coming out saying, oh, I know DJ Jazzy Jeff, I feel like DJ Jazzy Jeff should have talked more. Instead of me listening to some hype guy I've never heard to, while DJ Jazzy Jeff's kind of in the background. And occasionally he'll say something like, y'all know this one, right? Or he'll say something, very, nothing. I would have loved to hear a, what you up to now, DJ Jazzy Jeff story, and I didn't get that. So I felt a little shortchanged.
The other guy was working the crowd, and he just sat behind the thing playing the song.
I will say this, though.
No, that was him. The guy that was walking around was a hype man.
That's what I just said.
Yeah. He just literally sat there.
Stood there and did his thing.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said
that. Being said, and I'm not recommending anybody do this now because it can severely damage not only your records but also your record players. Have you ever done that? It is so much fun.
I feel like when I
to
was
scratch a record. It is
I think when I was
so
a kid, I
much
did. I haven't
fun.
done it in my adult life, but as a child, I'm
Or
pretty
just,
good.
or just to take the needle and just random drop it, and then oh my god, that's so much fun.
I feel like I may have had a couple of Fisher Price record players
Right.
or something still around in those days, and I probably broke them doing that.
Like,
But
yeah, you
essentially killed them.
You instantly become like a hit maker. You're like, oh, I could do this for a living.
Yeah. But then again, I also listen to different type of music, so I didn't really care about that until like Anthrax did "I'm the Man." Then I'm like, oh, maybe this rap stuff's got some. But anyway,
yeah,
that's me. But so overall, he as far as did his job, he did that amazingly. I just kind of was like, wow. And to be honest, and he had no setup. It was literally they rolled his thing out, rolled out. The whole set behind him was there's the New Kids on the Block risers, which is also Paul Abdul used it. And then it was kind of set for Paul Abdul because there was literally racks and racks of costumes.
Clothes and costumes.
Just sitting on the side there. And then they wheel out DJ's stand. He does his bit and they wheel it right back.
That was his
And that was kind of his deal.
There you go, $10,000.
And then Paul Abdul came on.
Okay.
I will say this.
Now, I got to imagine, since there's not a lot of, because most of the concerts I go to, you have to wait for the band to break down their equipment, the new band to set up their equipment. There probably wasn't a lot of that.
To be honest, there was a longer period between Paula and New Kids because there was probably a lot more logistics to move between those two. But yeah, I would say once DJ Jazzy Jeff came off, within 10 minutes, Paula was up. Yeah. But it was probably 30 minutes between Paula and New Kids.
Now, Paula Abdul, you had mentioned off the air, 62?
Yeah, 62. So that's the thing. I will tell you this.
Amazing.
I am very appreciative of her talents and efforts up there. I'm not a fan of her music per se. That's not something I would be into. But she earned her money. She did amazing. She
did the hits. I'm guessing Cold Hearted Snake.
If you would now, granted, I'm also rows back. I'm not sitting right next to her.
Right.
But from where I'm sitting, she easily looks 20 years younger than what she is.
She's just
she moves very well.
She blew me away.
Now, okay, so did she do a lot of like in between song talking?
Yeah, yes. She talked.
Did she now? Did she sound like American Idol Paula?
Yeah.
Was she a little spacey? Did
she was very nice.
No, she was on it.
Very
okay.
She's very Paula in her personality.
Right.
Like she's kind of that very nice, very
sweet.
You know, like
just
she
princess type.
And I like Kim Till most of it, but like for instance, she had her bejeweled Stanley Cup or whatever, her water, and I'm assuming water, and she literally said, "I need a help from a fan," and she picked some lady to hold her water bottle and sit there and hold her cup. And,
I need somebody to hold my jock.
And
she's like,
kind of messed up.
Here's the deal. Can't drink from it unless you want backwash.
And she's very nice and very, very charismatic about it and everything.
She was.
And I think the woman got like an autographed T-shirt.
She got
and
to go up on stage.
Nice.
Brought her up on stage to get her.
Well, if you're the water boy.
But she danced as because
she does look pretty good for 62.
And to be honest,
she's amazing.
Her background is she can sing, but she comes from a dance world, not a sing world. Like
she's
she
a
made
choreographer.
she made her nut, so to speak, in the dance world. The singing came, and
she was at LA Lakers.
That blew her to superstardom was the singing world. But she had a extensive dance career before we knew her as Paula Abdul straight up.
And can she still move?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. She's not moving like she was in the 80s and 90s.
But she did good.
She didn't take 2 steps forward and fall backwards.
There are no people in their 60s or below that could talk smack about her.
And she was being carried and twirled by her dancers.
Well, yeah, a lot of shirtless men and twirling. And
you saw a lot of man nipple.
Oh, it was so much of that. So much of that there. It was so much of that.
A lot of dude areola.
But she did introduce her dancers, and I think one of the dancers, if you know, the world is famous because he won one of the dancers had won that dance show that's on Fox all the
So You Think You Can Dance?
Yeah, maybe that
maybe
one.
So.
Yes, I don't know the member, but and so he was So You Can Think You Can Dance 2022 winner or whatever it was. I didn't know he was, but people might.
Sure.
So, and I'll let you tell what they kind of. Because she came out to Straight Up. That was her opening, and she's doing the dancing and the lifting and the twirling and the dudes, doing her thing. But after the song, that was her opening number, And she had the thing, and I'll kind of let you pick it up from there.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And then afterwards, all of a sudden, a lady came running out with an oxygen mask.
It's funny you mentioned the oxygen.
And I'm all like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And they just put it over her face for a second. I mean, a short time. She didn't hardly get any oxygen.
Yeah.
And she's, yep, that's right. She goes, 62.
Nice. So I don't know if she legit needed oxygen or she was doing a bit.
Admittedly, Albuquerque is a higher elevation,
And that's
too.
also the other part. But like she's probably in a higher elevation she's used to, and
Right.
she's working.
Mhm.
She ain't just standing there going, whoa, whoa. Now, all fairness, new kids were working too. They were all over.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
they weren't
just-
DJ Jazzy Jeff just going,
Just from what I saw.
y'all remember this one, y'all? How about this one?
And they did a pretty good job at the very beginning of getting everybody, super hyped.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could tell that they really did put together an awesome stage show.
And Paul only did a 30-minute set.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it almost sounded like that's what New Kids gave her. Like,
Right.
because she kept saying, I don't know how to get all this in 30 minutes. We're going to, and so she was like, I got a 30-minute set. Because she's so used to choreograph and doing much longer shows. And she's like, how do I crowbar me in 30 minutes?
Was there any song that she played that you didn't necessarily recognize? Like, she doesn't have new stuff, right?
No.
So did you, pretty much recognize everything she
Mostly,
did? Or?
There's probably one or two that Paula Abdul fans knew that that may have never got radio play or as much radio
Did
play.
she do Forever Your Girl?
Yeah, Forever Your Girl.
She did Rush.
Did Straight Up. She did the one.
Rush is that's more of a I need a break song. Let me just take a break because that's you could sit informally on a stool. And
She actually did the sitting while she had two dancers, a boy and a girl that danced
Oh, okay.
and choreographed, kind of almost ballet-ish. It was very artsy.
And they carried her around a lot too, so she was lifted up.
Sure.
And Opposites Attract, Forever Your Girl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she did
Cold
the
Hearted
hits.
Snake, I'm sure.
I don't remember Cold Hearted Snake.
It may have been in there, and she didn't do all of songs either. Like
I'm guessing a couple of medleys.
like yeah,
probably.
she'd do this part, and then it almost like a lot of medleys. Yeah, and that's and before Kim gets way into New Kids and all this, I've got to say this part because I mentioned this at the beginning of the show, and it dawned on me about halfway through the concert, and this is the first time, and I can't remember if I said something to Kim or not. I think I may have. But this is the first time I've been to a concert that no one's playing instruments. If that makes sense.
It does, because now you don't consider a turntable an instrument necessarily. But
and so
Paula Abdul never really did her own thing. New Kids, they're just
I
boy
really
band.
didn't. I was like, wait a minute, there's nobody really actually playing music. At
Different
these
kind of concert.
concerts.
Yeah.
And I've never been to a concert like every other concert I've been to. There's a drum kit.
Sure.
There's a bass. There's a guitar, and there's a guy
Did
singing or girl
New
singing.
Kids have a backing band, or did they just work off of like a track?
There was all tracks. It was
Okay.
all
Yeah.
nothing. Paula, the only person I saw with a turntable and he was DJ Jazzy Jeff at the beginning, and then literally he's just playing tracks and scratching to it.
Okay, now that poses a new question. If it was all on tracks, were they singing?
I believe Paula was singing.
Okay.
And I think they sing some. I don't think they sing all of it.
Well, you get really breathless when you're moving like that on stage.
And
so-
that's part of maybe just how that goes at concerts like that. And I've never been to a concert
Now,
like
I mean,
that.
sure, if you're a touring band, you train for, long stage shows.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was really funny. I went to a show a while back. One of the guys that does our cameras here at the station, Peter, he's in a band called Marionette. And he mentioned about 3 songs into that set, he's not used to doing long form sets, and he has to he's got to get back to the gym and get his cardio up because of how exhausting it is.
Yeah. Oh,
so
yeah.
It takes a lot out of you, but you train yourself to do a 2-hour stage show.
Sure. But, and so, yes, I can appreciate the athleticism and the pageantry of the show, but it dawned on me about halfway through, and I'm like, I'm in a concert that's not really playing music, live music. And
that's got to save some money on the tour, though, because you don't have to pack a whole truckload of instruments.
They have a lot of...
It's just one cassette tape.
But they got a lot of... But that's just it, where they lack in instruments, they make up for in the lasers and the lights and that stuff. It's all in the sound systems, and, I'm sure, the music's music. It's music,
Sure.
but... It's the first time I've gone to a concert, and I'm like, there's not people playing live music, and and then that's where I'm like, this is where it's off-putting for me. This is not what I'm used to, and I can appreciate it, but at the same time, I'm like, if I'm going to a concert, I want to see the artist play the music, not dance to their music.
Right.
And that's really what these kind of bands are. And that's the first time I've seen it live. And I'm like,
So my next question is, at what points did you decide to break away? At what points were you like, I'm going to concession?
Couple times. I mean, like during the
did you pick your spots is what I'm saying. 'Cause like, if I'm, for example,
I would just wait till I got sensory overload.
Okay.
Like when, there was a couple times where it was getting over shirtless and like, all right, time for some ice cream.
I've seen enough abs for a second.
Time for some for a hot dog or whatever, you know. Yeah, and so and then sometimes too is I just don't like crowds. I don't like being elbow to elbow with people. And so sometimes that's a little much for me, and I'm like, all right, let me go walk away, decompress, let me rub my elbows, let me breathe, and then then I can go back in.
I can get that. Plus, now it's different in your situation because the last concert I was at that was like a group of people standing. There's a certain piquant, a certain odor that exists, but you were surrounded by women, so I'm assuming it smelled a little better in your crowd.
Actually, I did catch a few whiffs of the ganj, but not many, and it wasn't towards the end where the debauchery was, where the liquors were really flowing at that point. And you're like, all right, that's when you're like, okay, this is where how many of these people are going to be scooping up with shovels after this thing's over with.
Uber's going to make a killing off this thing.
But like I said, when I said earlier, it was a lot, mostly women in their 40s and 50s, pretending to party like they were in the 80s and 90s and dressing like they're in the 80s and 90s. And
because for one night, we get to be 20, 30 years younger. I understand.
It's a lot to take in.
Yeah, I bet.
I can imagine there's some kids that they saw their parents in that way.
Acting that way, yeah.
That scene does not.
Mom!
They're sitting on couches talking to people about stuff. That's all I'm saying. So, we got about 5 minutes before the 8 o'clock. So I kind of wanted Kim to, and we get to probably talk a little bit because the sheriff's scheduled to join us. I'm pull over the curtain. I reached out to him this morning because I wasn't here, and I have not heard back yet. So it's a crapshoot whether he's going to make it in next hour or not. So so we'll probably have a little more time to chit chat. But I do want to give you at least your chance because my perspective is way different than her perspective.
Sure. Yeah, I bet a little bit.
Yeah.
When she said you guys left early, I was like, that's a total Mike decision.
And it was 9.
I had nothing to do with that.
But the finale.
I had nothing to do with that.
I already had
16 more shirtless Donnies.
I already had my finale when I got to grope all of them. That was my highlight.
I want this noted right now.
Please stop. Please stop. She had her finale. We got it.
I want to make. I know I just walked all over women's fantasy moment here, but I want it noted that at no point was I the poo-pooer of party things. I told Kim, you do what you want. We can stay here all day. I don't care. Please forgive me if I choose not to stand on the chair and shake my things.
That made me light.
But yes, after she got to grope 3/4 of new kids, or 4/4, I'm not sure which, she was satiated.
You can't get any better than that. Let's go home.
Oh, wow.
She had her cigarette and we went home.
Oh, no, you didn't.
But anyway, sorry.
You gotta feel bad for the guy who had to clean up the pavilion afterwards, breaks out the mop.
I'm sure there's a few people they had to mop up.
All the drooling.
Yeah,
there was there was a dude next to me, and his, I'm assuming, wife and I don't know if all the kids were his kids. There were several kids.
Okay.
And they were pretty good most of the time. But he had been drinking. She had been drinking. And about the time when the roving new kids rolled out, they were almost a problem. Like the guy.
He was standing on a chair.
Yeah, the guy was standing. And literally, the security had to go tell him to get down and everything. And of course, and then this is the part Kim didn't see. You know how these drunk man's getting up there? Using me as a shoulder and pushing up and everything else.
Hey, buddy, Mike had to contain himself. He didn't
at that point, I was like, I don't want to get arrested.
I don't want to be sitting there. How'd you get here? Fist fight of the New Kids on the Block concert.
Yeah, that's not.
It doesn't hold water in cell block C. You know?
It does not give me street cred. I'd hope it would. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
But no, none of that. But there was a moment I was like, oh, this is how it all ends. Headlines.
Well, yeah, because that poor guy got drugged there. He was just looking for a couple of drinks.
And there's some picture of me all beat up with like neon and black all over it. And a shirt with the NO, whatever, BTK, whatever it's on.
See, that's what Mike does. He fakes like he doesn't know it's in KOTB, so that he can still hold his man cred.
To be honest, if I thought about it, but I do not know it off heart.
It doesn't roll off my tongue.
Yeah, I don't go new. I'd have to go, and I just didn't feel like doing that right now. So I just didn't. So we got about a minute left before news, and like I said, tune in next hour. We are scheduled to have Sheriff Mike Harrington join us. I don't know if they're going to make it or not. I sent the text out, but I haven't heard anything. So hopefully, usually when that happens, though, usually Charles pops in or something. So I'm going to guess somebody from the sheriff's office will pop in and join us next hour. We'll also chit chat more because I didn't give Kim a chance to tell you what she went. I know we got to talking, but in all fairness, you derailed the 5 minutes with telling him that you were satisfied after.
I just said I had my finale. I was ready.
Exactly. Enough said.
I didn't take it that way.
That was interpreted all the way it needed to be interpreted. So it is closing in on 8 o'clock. Let's do this. Let's pause for legal ID and then Town Hall News. We'll be back on the other side of news.
Your home for Sean Hannity in Roswell. 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. KEND, Roswell, New Mexico.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Despite the Federal Reserve's efforts to corral inflation, wholesale prices jumped 2.6% last month from year-ago levels, a larger increase than economists were forecasting. President Biden not budging in his insistence that he will not drop out of the race for the White House, despite a growing number of Democrats calling on him to step aside. At his so-called Big Boy News Conference last evening, Mr. Biden took questions from a pre-approved list of reporters supplied by his staff, and he read from a teleprompter. And there were also some cringe-worthy moments both before and during the event.
Facing intense scrutiny over his advanced age and mental acuity, the president made a gaffe at the NATO summit when he introduced Ukrainian President Zelensky.
Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin.
Later, at a high-stakes press conference, Mr. Biden mistakenly identified his own vice president, Kamala Harris.
I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president, but I think she was not qualified to be president.
The president insisted he's up to the job and is the best qualified candidate in the race. Greg Clugston, Washington.
The heat wave holding so much of the country in its grip has not let go yet. Too hot to do much of anything outside, even walking the dog. Requires some advanced planning in Vegas.
If I don't get out by 8:30 in the morning, then it's not going to happen that day. Because even in the evenings, last night at 10 o'clock, when I let them out to go potty their last time before I went to bed, it was still 109.
Also hot and humid in Houston, where a utility executive warns that about 500,000 homes and businesses will not have electricity into next week. Widespread outages from Hurricane Beryl persist. CenterPoint Energy says power has been restored to more than 1 million homes and businesses. Watching Wall Street, stocks are higher. The Dow is up 101 points. The Nasdaq 143 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Colombia's president advocates legalizing cocaine worldwide. Gustavo Petro tells the UN the move would quickly end the armed conflict that's been raging for a long time in his country.
Speaking at the United Nations Peacebuilding Commission in New York, Mr. Petro said that profits from the illegal cocaine trade fueled the violence in Colombia. He said it was regrettable that most countries wouldn't agree to legalize drugs for what he called political reasons. The country's drug trafficking routes are controlled not only by criminal gangs, but also by rebel groups who've been fighting the armed forces for 6 decades. The cocaine trade is their main source of income.
That's BBC's Leonardo Rocha. The Solomon Islands' new prime minister is in Beijing for a state visit as China and the strategic Pacific archipelago strengthen their ties. China's influence has increased significantly in the region. The two countries have a new security pact. News and analysis at townhall.com. Virginia Congressman Bob Good petitions for a recount.
It comes after state election officials say he narrowly lost the Republican primary to a challenger backed by former President Trump. The Good campaign said Thursday it filed the recount petition in Goochland County outside of Richmond. Earlier this month, the State Board of Elections declared State Senator John McGuire the winner over Good in the 5th Congressional District primary. McGuire's margin of victory was 374 votes out of nearly 63,000 ballots cast. Good was entitled to a recount because the margin of victory is less than a percentage point. McGuire's campaign said a recount is pointless and that McGuire is the winner. Keith Peters reporting.
A year after suffering through catastrophic flooding, Vermont has been slammed again. And this time at least 2 people lost their lives as the remnants of Hurricane Beryl unleashed flash flooding, resulting in more than 100 high water rescues. Townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel said, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
Your SRN program.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
Los Dos.
Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell Talk FM. Happy Friday, everybody.
Yes.
Welcome to it. Hopefully you've got plans for your weekend upon you. If not, then it's open seas for you.
There you go.
Get on out there and have an adventure.
Go nuts.
Yeah. So, but happy Friday, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Hope you're enjoying it. It's been a weird because of being off yesterday.
Yeah,
it's kind of
throws
thrown me
things off.
It's thrown me off. So it's like I got 2 Fridays. So kind of like it.
Well, it's been real like prep for the school year this week for me because I had to get 2 kids, 2 different places across town.
That'll be Kim here in a week or two.
Luckily, Rhiannon wrapped up her YouTube camp yesterday, and
how'd that go?
She loved it. She had a blast. Yeah, she learned a few things.
Do they make content while
they actually their final project was to put together a video that could then get published, and it's not sent to YouTube. It's sent to this middle ground service called Black Rocket, which then we could choose to upload it to YouTube if we wanted to.
It's there.
I think we need to work on some things.
Okay.
Like, I know that there was some stuff that they covered in this class that was great. She learned a lot of great stuff, but there's a few techniques that I think are left to be desired. Her editing is a little rough. She needs to learn volume a bit. Now, I understand they were in a class and everybody was doing videos, so they were all kind of whispering.
Sure.
But it kind of gave off like an ASMR vibe. And so there's still some work to be done, but she definitely got a good foundation.
Good deal. Well, it does. It's also a little different that your daughter was probably the only one that had a daddy that works with media quite often. So
yeah. So I was a little critical.
Yeah. But pull back the curtain. We're more experts in the radio world than the video world. But some of it does translate and apply. Things like speaking and presenting yourself, that doesn't change.
Yeah.
We just don't have to look at us when we do it on radio. So we can do it in our underpants.
You got to hit them hard and hit them fast right at the beginning, much like an opening number. Segue.
Good segue.
Thank you.
But so if you're just tuning in, Kim and I were off in Albuquerque going to the New Kids on the Block concert. So we're back and kind of been talking about it last hour and stuff. So we kind of continued into it, but I didn't get a chance for Kim to kind of. I explained mostly my perspective, but Kim got a little bit. But I want to give her a chance to, because I enjoyed the concert, but that concert's not for me.
Right.
So I'm going to come at it from a certain angle.
When you guys go to a Metallica concert, that's not her concert.
Yeah.
Right.
This was Metallica for her.
So I wanted to let her talk like, the exciting talk of seeing said New Kids on the Block. For me, I'm just like, oh, that's nice. When's this over?
Yes, I'll hold your purse.
So, sweetie, the floor is yours on that. Well, like as far as the New Kids, obviously the part where they came out your favorite part, but kind of give just your experiences, the hates, the loves, and the in between.
Absolutely. Well, growing up, I was a big New Kids on the Block fan back in the 80s. I was just in that age.
In the 70s, before they were even a thing.
Now we established that you were a Donnie fan. You had a crush on Donnie.
He was my favorite.
Okay.
I had the poster. Actually, my stepsister and I had the New Kids on the Block poster in our room.
Nice. Now, here's a question. In their heyday, wasn't one of them kind of more dreamy than the rest? And was it Donnie? I thought it was another one.
Joey, I thought, was the heartthrob.
Like, which one was the one that most of the girls were like, I know you say you're a Donnie, but I feel like he wasn't the main one.
Jordan was very attractive.
Was he the one that most, like, I remember back in the day when women were fawning over the New Kids.
Jordan.
And Donnie
probably. Jordan
was not the majority of the ones they mentioned.
However, my stepsister liked Joey. And Joey was the young one.
Okay. Yeah.
He was the youngest. He was probably about 13 or 14 when Please Don't Go Girl.
I was going to say, he's the one who hit that high note.
He hadn't hit puberty yet.
Well, that would also
so
make
now,
sense.
Of course, he can't do the song like he did.
Go, girl.
Please don't go, girl.
No, wait a second. I've hit puberty and I can do that. Please don't go, girl. It's all about a good falsetto. You just got to.
Well, and that would make sense to your sister because she was a little younger than you.
A year younger.
So Joey's probably
Brandy
more.
was a year younger.
Okay,
Yeah.
I do have to.
Donnie was my favorite.
Oh, I thought it was Amy that liked Joey, not Brandy.
No, Amy wasn't that New Kids on the Block.
I do have to ask. I brought this up yesterday on this show when Roy was in here. We were talking.
Yeah.
There was a whole era of music where like everybody who was doing pop at least did that thing where they would sing and then right in the middle you'd have all the guys ooh, and then one person would come up and go, "Baby, I know I treated you wrong, but now I want to make it up to you." Did they do that?
No.
Because that's in Please Don't Go Girl, that's actually in the song. Like they do the breakdown in the middle of the song.
They didn't do that song.
No.
I figured they would have.
Yes, they did.
Funny.
Didn't they do Please? Maybe
You tell
they
me.
did.
I don't remember hearing it.
I don't think they
But
did.
I wasn't paying that. I might have been getting a squeeze soft serve at that time. I don't know.
Maybe they didn't. But one thing I do remember Donnie was doing a song, they kind of revamped it a little bit than what it was.
Well, yeah,
and I was all like, oh, that's an interesting take on it. And I don't remember what it was.
Well, I bet what it is new kids in their 50s can't hit the way that new kids in their 20s could.
It wasn't that they weren't hitting the notes. They just had a different style. It was more hard, more...
Maybe, maybe it's a live version. Maybe if they do it live, it's like that versus...
Well, they're also back in the 89.
The studio songs and live songs don't always sound the same.
They're also grown men. So it's sort of hard to kind of have that boy band mystique when you're
they kind of made it more grown.
Although, based on that room, yeah, they could. Like, time was suspended in everyone's brain in that night. And that the audience predominantly thought they were 20. And the music, I mean, and to be honest, mindset, it was 20-year-olds in there. So to be honest, they could have done all of that via that thing, and it was because... they were looked at like it was the Beatles. I swear, if you ever see the footage of the Beatles and the craziness that women do, that's legit what was going on in the Isleta Amphitheater.
One of the things, and I will say this, I will give you guys props for the videos that I've seen so far.
Yeah.
The one thing that you didn't do, or that I didn't notice that you did, is lose your mind and start singing all the lyrics back to them. See, that's why I can't share any of the videos I took from my AJR concert 2 years ago.
That's your move.
Because the whole time I was just like, yeah! So I was not a good concert videoer.
When it's Metallica, I too do that. Because I don't know, if you dig from when we went to Metallica a dozen years ago, half dozen years ago, where it was. You okay? She's mad because I'm not giving her enough time to talk.
Go ahead.
She gave me the eyeball look.
I was like, she's just mid-chew. It's fine.
The video's up there. You can barely hear it because it's loud. But if there is a faint mic, master, in the background there. So anyway, but sorry, sweetie. Go ahead. You were talking about how you're a big New Kids fan, and then
I was answering questions.
Yeah, and then it got.
It's
I interrupted because I asked a question.
It's turned into a press conference at this point.
I want to kind of go back. My history. I saw New Kids on the Block back in '89. Which is 35 years ago.
Wow.
This was a nostalgic concert, not necessarily. I don't listen to New Kids anymore, so this was taking me back to
exactly.
This was a nostalgic concert.
I'm not. I enjoy the band Bowling for Soup, but I don't listen to them on a regular basis. So when I went to that concert, to hear the songs that I loved and will sing in my car sung back to me like live, that definitely scratches that nostalgia itch for sure.
Absolutely.
I get that.
And I heard Mike earlier on the radio talking about never seen me present jealousy. Well, let me give you a backstory.
Oh, yeah, I know.
My sister, who's 6 years younger than me, so she wasn't really all into New Kids on the Block like I was. She wasn't at that age.
Right.
Well,
you already heard it right there, right?
Several years.
She wasn't a big fan like I was.
Exactly. But she gets all these perks. Several years ago, her same friend, when New Kids on the Block played in El Paso, they got to do the meet and greet. She had pictures taken with them.
Okay.
And when we set up tickets, they were supposed to be in the little club section behind us. That's why I went ahead and chose us to get these seats. Then I find out everything had changed. She got to go to the meet and greet, and we were waiting in line. She came out and showed us and stuff, and I'll show you the pictures later. She was talking about Donnie was right next to her, and he had his hands on both of her shoulders. You know?
Wow.
And so anyway, they let us in and we get our seats, and Amy's still back in the VIP, not visiting because they'd already done their visit. That was just where the VIP gets to drink and chill.
Do VIP
and
things.
Then her and her friends come out. They get in the section, and Amy keeps walking. Amy told me they were in row 8. So I'm like, okay. She's walking, and they get to the front row, and I'm all like, are you kidding me? She gets to meet them. She gets front row now?
Okay.
What?
Now, may I play devil's advocate for a second?
Yes.
Okay. You said 6 years ago, your sister and her friend got to hook up with meet and greet tickets.
It was several years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you're telling me in that amount of time, You couldn't have befriended the lady? You have the connection of, you know, my sister. Hook up with her on Facebook. Start a messenger chat. I mean, that's the long game, Kim. They're going to be back. Start now. Start making friends now.
You want to catch them in their 60s? Make buddy.
I met her at the Christmas party at my sister's house. Her name's Allison. Very friendly. We talked.
That's her name. I couldn't remember her name. Yeah.
It's just when we were getting this concert together, somehow plans changed after we got tickets. And I'm all like, oh, amazing. She has front seats and gets to meet. Because that wasn't the deal when we were making. And I was like, this girl's so lucky. She gets to do it twice. But anyway.
You still got the experience.
I'm not complaining. I was thrilled. And the icing on the cake. Well, let me backtrack a little bit more besides the icing on the cake. Right after Paula Abdul got off stage and there was that little break, Amy came to us and her pictures finally came in. I guess they were supposed to send them to her. She was waiting for the pictures of the new kids. She got them and she showed me. She goes, yeah. She goes, it was Donnie. And she goes, he touched both of my shoulders. I said, you got to be kidding me. So I started touching her shoulders. Let me get some Donnie on
Just
me.
trying to get a little third hand Donnie.
Little did I know there was going to be a surprise when he started coming down the row. You bet when he came, because he had a sleeveless shirt on. So when he came by, I was rubbing his shoulders.
when he had
Give it over the side.
I did the actual Donnie shoulders.
When he had a shirt on, it was sleeveless. But
it was a sleeveless shirt.
I know, but most of the time he's shirtless.
Yeah. And then, so they're playing after they walk through the aisle. Next thing you know, another new kid's coming back to the stage, and that was Jordan. So as Jordan's coming by, I grabbed his hand, and then the next thing you know, here comes Joey. Except Joey gets in the chair right in front of me, standing on it, playing. I mean, he's right there.
Singing.
And
he ain't playing nothing. He's singing.
Singing, you know.
I know what you meant.
Playing a singer.
He's performing.
Well, I get it.
Right
because
in front of me. So I got 3 close new kids on.
That's...
So
you almost collected the whole set.
That's right.
I tell you. So I didn't go away disappointed. That was such a nice surprise. I didn't think I got up close and personal, too. So I was so happy about that.
So your girl didn't go away mad. She just went away. No, but I understand that because, and this is, again, 20 years ago, when we got to go to the Foo Fighters concert. And Dave Grohl came down off the stands, or off the stage, and stood on a chair. And,
we were all right there. All three of us.
I was like 15 feet away, so I wasn't as nearly as close.
Yeah, Kim and I were literally 3 feet.
Oh yeah, but that was still a surreal experience, you know. So I mean, so I understand, you know, how that feels.
That was way cooler than that for me. Well, I'd rather be 3 feet from Dave Grohl than 37 new kids.
We also had all the free Red Bull we could drink, so there's that. I was hyped for a whole different set of reasons.
And if I remember right, that's right around the time they were debuting sugar-free Red Bull, and so they were passing out free regular Red Bull and the new sugar-free Red Bull, while we ate copious amounts of La Posta Mexican food, if I remember right.
So after that, my concert was complete.
Okay, so
everything after that was like, okay.
And that's the thing is, you always have. There's a certain a checklist that you have in your head when you go into something like this. Like with my next week, there's certain songs I definitely want to, and I have been like the plague avoiding any kind of spoilers. It's like, unfortunately, I already know how long the show is, like exactly how long the show is, and that bugs me because I'm going to be counting down the whole time. But there's certain a checklist of as long as you get this song, they reference this, they do how we made this song, kind of these standards. So you got all the standards in.
Yeah.
And New Kids on the Block, they were my first concert. When I was in 8th grade. So, yeah, it was neat. And
it does feel... Now, she showed me the video of the finale that you guys unfortunately missed. It felt a little pandery to me that they all came out in Boston Celtics jerseys, or at least Boston Celtics
he's
colors.
A Boston.
I know, but they just won the championship. So it kind of feels like, like when you're in Minneapolis in the WWE and you say, it's great to be in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
It's like,
I think they're all Celtics fans, probably.
I'm sure.
I know Donnie's Boston, but I don't know about the rest of the new kids.
And that's the other thing is,
Donnie is.
Donnie is the entire reason that Marky Mark exists.
Because of Donnie.
Because of Donnie.
Absolutely.
He introduced him to the producer, and Mark Wahlberg, who was at the time just a struggling actor, brought out Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Well, and from my perspective, not from a fan, but just watching the concert, it comes across to me like the whole thing is Donnie kind of throwing them a bone. Like Donnie's clearly between his acting career, he doesn't have to do this.
Sure.
He doesn't have to sit in Albuquerque, New Mexico in July, shirtless while a bunch of 50-year-olds grope him. He doesn't have to. He probably likes it. I mean, God bless him. But I feel like they're doing this because I legit think he wants to get the other three some shine again. He gets some money and make them.
And Jonathan, he does home renovations on HGTV.
Yeah.
He's on TV.
Yeah, but ain't no one, I'm pretty sure they'll put anybody in HGTV and they ain't paying nobody. It
is always interesting
He's not getting paid.
to see the after careers of the mega famous. Because, come on down to Jordan Knight Toyota.
Yeah. I don't think, yes, it keeps them in the limelight somewhat, but I don't think they're paying people in HGTV to be on, I think they pay them very little.
Scale.
Go ahead.
But because there's all kinds of
But that being
people
said,
that era there.
He probably has his own renovation business. Sure. He probably does the house flipping thing. He's probably they figured out ways, I think, to make their money in other avenues.
Sure.
After
I just got a feeling. I think this is Donnie being and Donnie clearly is kind of the ringmaster of the show. He's doing most of the singing that I saw. Not all of it, but I mean, he's I think he had more solos than any of the other guys that I recall. Who's the one that they put the piano up there? Which one was that one? Who's playing the piano doing solo? Or they stuck him up there playing piano? Was that Joey?
I think it was Joey.
I have no idea.
I think it was Joey.
It was not Donnie. The way I look at New Kids, there's Donnie and the other three, and I don't know the other three interchangeable.
Yeah.
Oh, there's five altogether?
There's 5.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed one? I thought there was only 4. I didn't know there was 5. I missed one.
All right, let's go through them.
I will have to. We don't have to. I don't need to. I can die tomorrow and not know this information.
Yep. Then there's 2 that are brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan and Jonathan Knight.
Okay.
Jonathan's
the one I missed.
Then there's Joey McIntyre. And then Danny Wood.
Danny Wood. That sounds like a Mick.
Which one's the one that's kind of looks like an Italian mafia guy?
Danny Wood.
That sounds like the Mick Mars of the group.
Yeah, him and Donnie were the most shirtless. The rest were.
And Donnie was
shirtless.
doing some Magic Mike moves and taking his shirt off.
Oh yeah, he loved doing it.
My
Oh
gosh.
yeah, he was playing he knew what crowd he was playing to.
Oh, yeah.
I understand.
Oh, and the 50-year-olds were losing their mind. Oh, it was that part was funny and sad all at the same time. Like I was laughing and I'm like, oh wow. But part of me is like, this is my peers, man. Look at this. This is not right.
This is my contemporaries.
It's not right.
Yes.
You people are in public. You realize that, right? This is public.
But no, it's not. It's not because you're amongst your people.
Yeah, but everything's in public now because every idiot up there is with their phone going, ew, and now all of their dirty laundry's there.
Yeah.
This is the difference. This still happened in the 80s. No one recorded it.
That's true.
And now you see it, and you're like, do we have a guest?
Oh.
I just heard someone talking.
I think it was just Roy.
Okay. I was like, am I sitting there? Is there a guest? Oh, okay. I thought maybe a guest was here. You said it loud enough. I thought maybe it was sitting away. Like, I'm just killing time, y'all. We got a guest. But anyway.
You can hear me from that guy.
Oh, I did. but yeah, I'm just like, wow. It's a lot to take in.
I get that.
But it's like this. But that's the difference. When you're in your 20s, you don't care about repercussions.
The cool thing
these people do at this point. They're going to look at this probably today, and then they're probably looking at these videos like
their kids are going to see these videos one of these days.
That was a bad decision.
Or playing devil's avocado again, they could look at them and say, my parents still actually, have a passion for something. Because a lot of times we look at our parents like, oh, boring, bland,
the
blah,
things
blah, blah.
I was seeing, if that was my parents, I would not be proud of them.
Did anybody in the crowd take their top off? Shut up! Oh my, okay, because you're on camera, Kim.
Yeah.
I didn't.
I was like, what? Now I understand why you left early. And congratulations.
Based on the audience, thank God no.
Well, if anybody, at that point, anybody lifts their arms too high, you might have a problem.
Well, and to be honest, this is probably old. This is old man screaming at lawn kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just the variety of what people choose to wear. And I'm just like,
There were women in their tutus, neon tutus.
oh yeah, they literally dressed up in
It was
tutus and
ridiculous.
neon and lycra spandex. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Did you look in a mirror before you walked out?
You know what?
You literally look like it's a Mimi convention.
Oh my God, okay. See, now
It just dawned on me.
that puts things into some perspective.
It just dawned on me right at that moment.
Mimi
New Kids on the
Bobek
Block concert is a Mimi convention from Cleveland Rocks and Drew Carey
Show. Yeah.
Yes, that's what it is.
That's-
It just the click hit me. It's a Mimi convention, but a bunch of Mimis drinking copious amounts of booze.
Basically, the HR director from every office in the area. There are a lot of women named Pat there. But I understand. But now the cool thing, the cool thing about being a New Kids on the Block or like of that ilk is you can go and get worshipped for however long your set is, do your thing, and then take your outfit off, whatever, head down to the pub and just be a normal dude. It's not until you'd be hard pressed to in the regular world to pick them out of a lineup. Now, if they're standing on stage, I'd know who they are. But if I was like across from one of them in a bar, I wouldn't, know them from Adam.
Here's
so
the
you
thing.
can live a normal life and still be a superstar.
Yes and no. Normal life, if they are surrounded in a world of people like you and me.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not the case. These people know who they are.
That's true.
And they see them in their natural habitat. They will not behave themselves.
No.
They will act like they did.
If it's one of their people. But I'm saying you could.
But that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of their people.
Right.
Is what I'm telling you.
That's probably
they
true.
cannot go into places without one of their people being there. There's so many of them people. And people are like, wow, what's going on? This is getting really rich.
Especially like Donnie, because he has different
Donnie's-
avenues besides New Kids.
Well,
on the
and
Block.
Donnie's probably got 6 different classes of fans.
Yeah, well,
he's got the real blue hairs that like blue bloods.
And because if it's a a woman in her 40s to 50s coming up, he knows it's for New Kids. If somebody goes, Donnie, it's a Wahlburgers fan.
And then, if it's if it's older people, it's either blue bloods or
Mimi.
No. The other big show he's known for, Band of Brothers.
Okay, right.
Yeah, that's Donnie. What they know Donnie for,
Sure.
Is I loved you in Band of Brothers. Oh, I loved you on Blue Bloods. That's that whole audience. That's kind of his. And then the rest are like, it's New Kids and then Wahlburger stuff. Everything else. And how's your brother? How's your mom? How's your, because the same people at New Kids fans are also Wahlburger fans and Mark fans and Alma fans and all that is the Wahlburger umbrella.
See, now I got the Andy Samberg, Mark Wahlberg impression. Say hi to your mother for me. But all in all, overall, a fun time was had. Memories were made.
Yeah, it was a good, and to be honest, it was a good show. Like they did, it was not as cheesy as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be low rent, and I'm like, because I've seen bands of yesteryear do shows, and not all of them put in the effort. I always go to Eddie Money as my one seed.
They wheel them out.
But, there's others in that mix, too, there.
Sure.
And that did not happen. DJ Jazzy Jeff was the closest to that. But because of the fact that I hadn't seen him in 100 years and I was genuinely just gee whiz curious what was going on there, I was thankful for it.
Right.
That being said, it was completely unnecessary to that show.
It definitely doesn't fit the demo of the rest of the show, for sure.
Well, you know what? The way he spun it and did it, it was an absolute pre-party to bring Paula Abdul out.
It was a pre-party. That's a good way to.
And Paula was still going on where it was daylight, and she only had 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And she, to be honest, should warrant a bigger draw than that. You know, granted, they're all here for new kids.
Right.
But quite frankly, Paula's more famous,
Mm-hmm.
and Paula's more talented.
Needed to be said. Needed to be said.
Donnie's more charismatic.
Sure.
Paula's more talented.
Yeah.
That's, I will say there. You know, that's for new kids. They're charismatic.
Mm-hmm.
Everything I saw that night, if I spent a regular time in the gym, nothing over the ordinary. I can walk around shirtless going, please don't go, girl.
He still got it.
Copious amounts of 50-year-olds grope me. That wasn't that hard of a gig. I can walk up and down steps choreographed with 4 other dudes.
And then most of the choreography that I've seen is a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of this. So not a lot of complex
Yeah, it's
motions.
not like they're out there, you know, busting out breakdancing and you know, doing what Paula's doing.
You want to cut to a break? I gotta.
Yeah, it's good. And I guess our guest isn't here, so and I really don't have time to play a full interview either. So we're kind of in a catch-22. It is 8:33. Let's go ahead and get you up to date on the weather.
Weather is brought to you by Bob Reed Pest Control, pest management for all of southeast New Mexico. Bob Reed Pest Control. No job is too large or too small. Call today from anywhere in southeast New Mexico. 575-623-5344.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We've got dry air back over eastern New Mexico, so little or no chance of rain for the upcoming weekend. Pretty hot today. We'll be in the upper 90s and sunny with fairly light wind. Overnight will be clear with upper 60s and low 70s, and then sunny and hot again on Saturday. Upper 90s for the high. It looks like we'll be up around 100 with sunshine coming up for Sunday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 76 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 37%. Winds are calm at the moment. Sunny today, looking at a high of 98 degrees. Winds will be out of the south, 5 to 10 miles per hour. If you love that forecast, get ready because it's pretty much on repeat for the next couple days. Tonight, mostly clear. Expect an overnight low of 70. Winds will be out of the south, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Saturday, like I said, sunny, high of 98, winds out of the south, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, clear, overnight low of 70, winds out of the south at 10 miles per hour. Sunny on Sunday, high of 99, south winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Sunday night, clear, overnight low of 70 and 100 and sunny when you head back to work on Monday. And then beginning Tuesday and pretty much the rest of the week, the way they're looking here, 20 to 30, 40% Wednesday night, but 20 to 30% chances of rain. Looks like the rest of the week, Tuesday, at least through Thursday. But highs still lingering in the mid to upper 90s. 99 on Tuesday, down to like 93 by Thursday of next week. So we'll see how that shapes up. Maybe we'll get some moisture. Knock on wood, hope for that. All right, as long as it doesn't go to Ruidoso and the burn scars and all that stuff. But here in Roswell, get us some. All right, it is 8:35. Let's go ahead and take a 3-minute break, and then we'll follow that up with a local news break, and then we'll come back. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Attention Roswell and surrounding areas. Celebrate freedom. Celebrate huge savings with 0% financing, more for your trade, and no payments till October during the Red, White, and Blue sales event at the all-new Roswell Ford. With new management and a whole new attitude, Roswell Ford makes trading up to a new Ford or quality pre-owned vehicle fast, fun, and easy. Upside down in your loan or stuck in your lease, Roswell Ford wants to get you released, even if you owe thousands more than your trade is worth, regardless of make, miles, or condition. Right now, get huge savings with rates as low as 0% for 66 months. Plus, we have a great selection of low-mileage, one-owner pre-owned vehicles, all in prime condition, starting at just $10,000. Don't settle for a low-quality, overpriced clunker. Buy a quality pre-owned vehicle from Roswell Ford for a lot less. Worried about your credit? Don't sweat it. We've partnered with the most aggressive lenders that will push to approve you today, even with bad or no credit. Lower prices, exceptional trade-in values, and a better buying experience. Get on board at Roswell Ford, 821 North Main Street in beautiful Roswell, or online at roswellford.com. $15.15 per thousand financed on select new Ford models with approved credit.
If you need a Kubota that works and plays hard, stop looking. You'll find everything you need at Amigo Machinery. When it comes to tough Kubota tractors, mowers, construction equipment, and utility vehicles, all with low-rate financing, Amigo Machinery is your one-stop shop. We are passionately committed to providing our customers with the highest quality products, most innovative solutions, and services delivered with integrity and professionalism. Stop by Amigo Machinery in Roswell or see us online at amigo-machinery.com.
Strong women need strong partners to help them lead their healthiest lives. At Artesia General Hospital, Dr. Scott Beard and nurse practitioner Lori Crockett deliver compassionate, holistic care to women at every age and stage. From routine checkups to diagnostic testing and specialty services like urogynecology, you can expect the most innovative, personalized care close to home. Learn more about women's services at Artesia General Hospital online at artesiageneral.com/women or by calling 575-736-8394. Many women's services are also offered in Carlsbad.
Being called a fox in your marriage might not always be a good thing. Hi, this is Pastor Troy and my wife, Miss Julie, for The Joy of Marriage.
In Song of Solomon, it says, "Catch all the foxes, those little foxes, before they ruin the vineyard of love." I looked up the word fox, and it means cunning, achieving one's goal by deceit or evasion. A female fox is a vixen, which is spiteful or a combative woman.
Those little things we do to try to get our way can ruin our marriages. Try just being honest and talking through the situation. Do what's best for your marriage, not just for yourself. When Julie and I learned to choose to do what's right instead of trying to be right, our marriage turned around. You will find marriage is so much better when we work together.
If you have any questions or would like further information about the Joy of Marriage Ministry, please go to jomconference.com.
Now, your Pecos Valley News Update. I'm Jared Sorello. Street construction to improve pavement and install ADA ramps on Hobbs Street between Southeast Main Street and Sunset Avenue in Roswell is now scheduled to begin July 22nd. This will require the closure of some lanes at various times, but at least one lane in each direction will remain open throughout the work. The project was originally scheduled to begin July 10th. Members of the Navajo Nation will gather this Saturday to mark 45 years since the largest radioactive release in U.S. history. The release took place at Church Rock, July 16, 1979, when a dam ruptured and released more than 1,000 tons of radioactive waste and nearly 95 million gallons of toxic radioactive wastewater. That water spilled into the nearby Rio Puerco and surrounded Navajo Nation lands. To this day, communities around the spill experience health problems associated with radiation exposure. A Stanford University study determined that United Nuclear Corporation removed only about 1% of the estimated total spill and resumed normal operations within 5 months. The Church Rock release is the third largest radioactive release globally, behind only the Fukushima disaster in Japan and Chernobyl meltdown in Russia. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Due to extreme pressure and weather conditions, it literally rains diamonds on Neptune and Uranus. Stop snickering because I said Uranus. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is closing in on 41 minutes after 8 o'clock. I do want to remind folks that we're coming up on a hard deadline today. Hard. It was soft. Now it's hard. You're like, what? But the 42nd Annual Heritage Dinner with the Historical Society for Southeast New Mexico is coming up on Tuesday, April the 13th. It's going to be a drive-through event. They'll start off by you swing by the Historical Society on Lee Street. You'll pick up your tickets there, and there's usually a drive-through you can go through and kind of do some other stuff. Usually there's some other things going on. And then you'll get your ticket for your meal, and you'll take it over to Pepper's, and they will present you with your box or bundle, depending on what you ordered. And then you take it home and go about your evening enjoying a delicious Pepper's produced meal. Now, like I said, there's 2 different ways you can do it. A dinner box for $120 that serves 2 people, or you can do the dinner bundle for $600, and that is 5 of those dinner boxes, so it serves 10 people. And with that dinner bundle, you also get a special bag, a commemorative gift, plus delivery. We'll deliver those meals, those 5 boxes to wherever you want, and we can break it up. So if you're like, I want 1 box to go to this place and 2 boxes here, and then the rest over here or whatever, we can do that for you. That's no problem. Or if you want them all 5 to one place or whatever, we can do all of the above there. So, but the RSVP date was for the event was July 1st, and they extended it through today. So today is the last day. If you have not made your reservations for the Heritage Dinner, whether you have not reserved your box or bundle, you got to get her done by today. We after this, we're going to start making Peppers mad, so we don't want to do that. So please contact Amy with the Historical Society. You can do so by giving her a call on the telly. It's the phone for you non-Brits. 575-622-8333, 575-622-8333, or shoot her an email, historydirector@outlook.com, or log on to the Historical Society's website, roswellnmhistory.org. But got to get it done by end of day today. If you try to get a dinner bundle or thing tomorrow, they're probably going to say, oh, nope.
Yep.
Cannot do it. So
kick rocks.
Get it done today. So anyway, so overall, we're kind of just wrapping up our
little post-mortem,
our trip to Albuquerque
now,
for
after the concert. I mean, you guys spent some time in Albuquerque yesterday. Did you guys do anything else fun?
Just we hit our restaurant
around?
place and hung out with family, and we had our breakfast at Wex.
Nice.
And of course, family hung out and stuff. And then we mosey on back to the world that is Roswell. So just a nice little getaway trip and seeing family for a little bit and seeing new kids and eating. And we did on our way. We left right after the show Wednesday, and Kim's parents did a fish fry. So we got there and rolled in for fish fry. So a bunch of delicious fried fish and coleslaw and beans and all the fries and all the stuff that kind of you have with fish fry.
I got a fish fry to me because I grew up in Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
It's mostly catfish.
We had, I don't know what kind. Was it bass? They fish all the time. So there's fish in the freezer. So we had that, and then of course Cam, youngest,
my niece,
wanted
Cameron.
scrimp, so they threw some scrimp in there too.
Nice.
So scrimp and fish and
they fried some shrimp.
Yeah,
very good.
They were not like they were normal size shrimp, not like bigger in your head, not like the pepper shrimp you're going to get at the appetizer,
or the absolute letdown. That is a shrimp cocktail in Vegas. I was so mad. I ordered a shrimp cocktail. We went, and it wasn't like one of those like 99-cent ones. We went to a fancy sit-down restaurant. I ordered a shrimp cocktail, and they brought it out old Vegas strip style, meaning they chop the shrimp up and mix it in with the cocktail. It ain't great. It wasn't good. It's like no, that's
I want
you're
to dip
missing
my
the
shrimp
point.
in the
Exactly.
cocktail sauce. Yeah.
So it was a real letdown.
Yeah, because I figured when I see your shrimp cocktail, it's almost like that sundae-like glass filled with ice, and then usually the scrimp are kind of lined up around the side of on the rim, and then they usually shove a cocktail sauce in the middle.
Yeah,
of the,
little cup.
Yeah, and that's generally a shrimp cocktail.
And that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Talk about a letdown that was.
when one thinks of shrimp cocktail, that's what one expects.
Indeed.
So, but but overall, it was a good show. It was entertaining. It was and yes, expenses are expensive.
Sure.
But that's always been the case. When have you ever not gone to a concert and dropped $100 on food?
Yeah.
And yeah, $10 for a can of water is a lot of money, but to be honest, I had a burger, I had the pretzel, I had some ice cream.
I got a hot dog.
You got a
that
hot
was
dog?
like $7.
You guys didn't hit the merch booths at all?
I offered. I was like, Kim, you want? And now's a chance. And I saw it from a distance. I didn't see the straight up shirt of which you were speaking because I would have meandered it. I looked, and but yeah, it was. We didn't because I asked him. I was like, you don't want a new kid shirt? And I figured this is your jam, your one seed. Why are you not? You don your Bon Jovi and all your other shirts while you're out and about. Why not your new kid's actual concert shirt? She didn't want one.
Speaking of, Bon Jovi put out an album, I believe, last week or 2 weeks ago.
I knew there was one coming out.
It debuted on the Billboard chart. I want to say at like number 8 or number 9. And by the next week, it was completely off the Billboard 200.
Is that bad?
They're saying it could be the record for the fastest drop of a Bon Jovi album.
Pluto Nash of music.
So I don't know how bad it is, but apparently it's pretty rough.
Well, and I know this, like he had major surgery because he was losing his voice and all this. So is this something to do with that, or is it just
no?
Is it just a poorly written song?
Who knows?
Or are people just tired of Bon Jovi?
They cut the album, I'm sure, before the surgery.
Yeah. Oh, did they?
Yeah,
because Bon Jovi's getting political now, and I'm sorry. You go political in this world.
It could be a two-word
especially if you're an artist where you have fans that are now old and crotchety. They're not going to support you.
Yeah. That could be a two-edged sword there.
Yeah. You know, I'm just saying there's people that loved Bon Jovi back in the day that are dyed-in-the-wool Trump supporters now, and they're going to, you know, if he's going out going woke, they're going to try to broke him.
They're not. The other side's not doing themselves any favors.
Yeah.
I want to welcome a very important leader, a world leader, one who got us through a hard time, ladies and gentlemen, Vladimir Putin. Did anybody catch that?
Yeah,
that was
bad. I watched. Yeah, like
it was
changing gears.
Yeah,
here.
sorry, switching gears. It was the end of the NATO summit.
So last night, and I didn't know that was coming on. We're just in our normal.
It was a breaking news.
In the 5 to 6, we watched the news thing.
Well, everybody was talking about it in the media, and even people on his side, on his team, were calling it Joe Biden's big boy interview or big boy press conference.
Yeah,
I'm like, y'all need to stop calling him a big boy.
Well,
that's not helping anybody.
I remember, and because I wasn't really we were in the New Kids world, so I was kind of out of touch, and so we get, and so we're just tuning into the news, and then when the 5:30 national news comes on, it's the press conference, his NATO press conference, and of course they're talking. This is where he's, and they literally said it. Lester Holt or whoever it was, literally said, you know, he's kind of coming out to reassure and prove that he can be president. And if that was the goal of that press conference,
swing and a miss.
No check mark. No check could be put next to that as an accomplished goal. There.
I didn't see.
There was more questions. We watched it till 6. He was rambling for 30 plus minutes.
I didn't see that.
We bailed at 6. I don't know how much longer it went.
My mom sent me the clip in like the clip everybody's talking about, so I know that part.
Well, I saw the part where he basically said Donald Trump was his vice president or whatever. He kind of.
And now I want to hand it over to the president of Ukraine, who has as much courage as he has determination. Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin.
Yeah, that he did live. And then they asked him about it during the press conference, and that was. And then when he proceeded to try to answer that, and then they asked him if he thinks Kamala Harris is worthy of being president. And he's trying to say yes, I wouldn't have picked her, but he called her Donald Trump. He was not Trump. He she's qualified. Donald Trump is qualified to be my vice president, whatever. I wouldn't have picked her. I wouldn't have picked her, Donald Trump, if he was. That's what he said. Something. And so, if the whole goal of that was to get people reassured that Joe just had a bad day last week, the complete opposite of that.
But in fairness, he didn't say "mommy" the whole time. So you got to give him that.
Yeah, I watched it, and literally we bailed at 6. I don't know how much longer it went on there, but not only was he sort of answering questions, he was literally going on diatribes about other things, and how he's literally trying to talk about things he's done over the history of him. And I'm like, okay, even if I agree and support and love everything you're telling me you did, that's in the past.
Yeah.
Right now, you're standing up here calling Kamala Harris Donald Trump. You're calling Zelensky Putin, and and this is a problem. I don't care how liberal or how conservative you are. This is a problem.
It's a severe problem. The biggest supporter he's ever had, George Clooney, has now put out an op-ed saying, "Dude, it's time to hang it up."
Yeah, and
George Clooney, he was one of the.
Look at all the photos. You look. There's so many photos of Obama, Biden and then Clooney in there for some weird
consistently,
reason.
he's one of the biggest fundraisers for the Democratic
Strangely,
Party.
I've never seen any of those pictures.
I think this is all tied to like Epstein-like stuff. They're all swimming in their little circles and their little parties, and they hang out. They're all together doing their things, and then they do something behind closed doors, and then they hold on to it till they make somebody else mad.
Yep.
And then they throw it out here into Epstein world. That's what I think is really
Drawers full of pictures.
all of these people, and Donald Trump swam in those exact same circles. They were at the parties in the 80s with these same people. These are all, and that's what's, to be honest, these are all the same people. Every one of them, whether they're D's or R's, they're all the same people. And they're in their same circles, swinging the same parties, and they're kumbaya but they all have dirt on each other, and they're going to hold on to it until they can make complete political advantage of it. And that's what I think we see every single day on this stuff. So, but anyway, I think they're all, so whether you're pro this or pro that, I'm telling you, they're all the same people.
Mr. Beast for president. There, I said it.
But I don't care how Democrat you are or how Republican you are. If you watched that press conference last night and thought anything other than we're in trouble, you're not thinking rationally. You're dyed in the wool, drinking your Kool-Aid or whatever thing you're doing.
Putting their head in the sand is what they're doing.
Yeah, but that was.
Well, sure,
but we could talk fun and games. That was straight up scary. What I saw last night. That's what that was.
Well, yeah. And when you mess up, they throw you under the bus. Like, look at Alec Baldwin.
And this is quote unquote the good version is what they were supposed to present us. And I'm like, this is not.
It was straight up scary. And it's like they take 2 steps forward, then they take 2 steps back. Just.
And then Donald
the problem
and
Joe's just hanging
because
tough.
opposites attract.
He's hanging tough.
Joe's hanging tough as long as he can, but whoa.
But it's rough.
That's what songs they need
rough.
for when he comes out on stage at his.
I'm just not sure he's got the right stuff.
On that note, we're going to play commercials.
He's a bit of a cold-hearted snake, if you will. See how many more of these I can work in.
Bye.
Well, and we can't work any DJ Jazzy Jeff references. It's just not enough of them.
Presidents just don't understand. I knew I'd get in there somewhere.
But then we throw them out, just like DJ.
That's right.
8:54. Let's get you into your Lou Dobbs update. Quick break before top of the hour news. Don't go away.
All across America, this is the Lou Dobbs Business Report.
I'm Ryan Lang in for Lou Dobbs. A mixed week on Wall Street so far. June inflation giving more rate cut signals. Bank earnings season underway. Stocks mixed heading into the last day of trading for the week. The Dow Jones Industrials headed for weekly gains. The S&P slipped nearly 50 points yesterday, falling from record territory the previous session. Yesterday's tech sell-off sent the Nasdaq down more than 300 points. The index near neutral heading into today's session. Yesterday's June CPI report had investors shifting from mega-cap tech stocks. June inflation fell to its lowest level in more than 3 years. Another signal to investors the Fed is ready to cut rates this year. Bank earnings season kicking off this morning. J.P. Morgan Chase earnings per share estimated at about $4.19. That's down more than 4% from a year ago. Quarterly revenue, meanwhile, targeted around $40 billion. Chase stock flat this week ahead of earnings, still up 20% on the year. Citigroup stock slipped 2% before today's report. Second quarter revenue targeted at more than $20 billion. Earnings per share estimates down nearly 10 cents from the start of this reporting period. Please join Lou twice each weekday for the Lou Dobbs Business Report right here.
Business news you need to know. Keep listening for more. This is the Lou Dobbs Business Report. Did you know baby boomers have up to 70% of their savings in stocks? This could be disastrous if the market's correct. Thousands of boomers are now backing their retirement with gold. Call Thor Metals Group at 844-944-THOR and learn how to protect your money. They're offering a free ounce of gold with qualified purchase. Boomers just don't have years to recover. Call Thor at 844-944-8467 or learn more at ThorGoldReport.com. That's ThorGoldReport.com.
Do you love your car? Yes. Well, Roswell Hyundai wants to help you keep your current car with a lower payment. Introducing Refi with Hyundai. Roswell Hyundai wants to help you refinance your current vehicle with rebates and discounts to lower your payment. If you're ready to upgrade, Roswell Hyundai has a fresh inventory of new and pre-owned vehicles with special financing available regardless of your credit with I-10 accepted. Don't forget, all new Hyundais come with a 5-year bumper-to-bumper warranty and 3 years of free oil changes. So, what makes Roswell Hyundai the #1 used car dealership in southeastern New Mexico? Mexico? You do. Roswell Hyundai, 1909 West 2nd.
Pressure Services, LLC in Artesia, New Mexico has immediate openings for experienced vacuum truck, kill truck, and hydrovac operators. Operators must hold a Class A CDL, at least 2 years of experience, and all positions require a clean driving record and must be able to pass a DOT drug and alcohol screening. Pressure Services offers great pay with IRA benefits and employer contribution towards health benefits. Please apply in person at 2702 North Freeman in Artesia, New Mexico. Equal opportunity employer.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The catfish has over 27,000 taste buds. Do you think they prefer fried or blackened? Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 8:57. Got a couple, about 2-3 minutes here before we get you into the top of the hour and the news and all of that good stuff. While I mentioned that today's the final day to get your RSVPs in for the 42nd Annual Heritage Dinner with the Historical Society for Southeast New Mexico, today's the drop-dead deadline. You got to get those in before close of business today. You can do so by calling Amy, 575-622-8333, 575-622-8333. Call, and Amy will be happy to get your reservation. However, coming up here at the end of this month, end of July here, is the deadline to sign up for this year's Leadership Roswell class. That runs. We had a great interview with Rick Kraft and Brandon Williams, the class president for the upcoming class here. And they're now taking the applications. If you go to the Chamber's website, which is roswellnm.org, all one word, roswellnm.org, you can download the application there, or you can come by the Chamber of Commerce and pick one up. But get the application, fill it out, and then if you're not familiar with the class, it's a year-long class, and you get to see all facets of Roswell. It's a leadership class. It's really good. Go back and watch our interview. We talk about the more details about the benefits of the class and everything else. But fill out the applications, get those, download them, and get them turned in by July 31st. The next class will start here shortly thereafter, and they'll go in August, actually, and then they go basically a Friday a month for the year, all day. There is a trip to Santa Fe for an overnight trip, and so there is time obligations and commitment. It does cost $1,000 for the program. A lot of times businesses, if they have a representative, they cover that cost. If you cannot afford that, there is in the application, if to apply for financial, if you need financial help, you check it, and they will work very closely to help you navigate all that. But go download the application, start putting together your application, get in, and put some time into your answers to your questions too. So, all right, it's 9 o'clock. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico. We'll be back on the other side of news.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. This morning's report on wholesale inflation took economists by surprise. Prices rose by a larger than expected 2.6% last month from 1 year earlier.
The government's producer price index, which tracks inflation before it reaches consumers, rose 0.2% from May to June after being unchanged the month before. It's a sign that some inflation pressures remain elevated. The increase, the sharpest year-over-year increase since March 2023, comes at a time when other price indicators are showing that inflation has continued to ease.
Correspondent Jeremy House. He says he wants to complete the job he started. President Biden at his solo news conference last evening giving no sign that he'll drop his bid for re-election, despite a growing number of Democrats urging him to do so. Correspondent Josh Boak says the president cleared the bar that was set for him, although admittedly it wasn't set very high.
He accidentally called Vice President Kamala Harris Vice President Trump. But what we also saw was that he was able to stand and keep going and answer questions from reporters about nuanced aspects of NATO, about other parts of the economy and foreign policy. And yet on that core question of how we can turn the tide, we really don't know what the plan is.
At last count, 17 congressional Democrats urged Mr. Biden to quit the campaign. The death toll from the intense heat that has spread across the country continues to rise. Deaths have been reported from coast to coast, from Maryland to Oregon. Rally underway this morning on Wall Street. Right now, the Dow is up about 248 points. The Nasdaq Composite Index ahead 188, and the S&P trading 45 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Everybody wants cheap air. Everybody wants cheap airfare. But where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 866-755-5300. That's 866-755-5300. Again, that's 866-755-5300. Call us right now.
United States and is on a private tour in the Italian capital, which topped 100 degrees.
We just skipped one of the stops. We stayed in the van because it's too hot for us.
In Serbia, people cooled down from the 95-degree weather at public fountains. Doctors there have reported treating people collapsing due to the heat. Greece is also on high alert as authorities say the country faces its highest wildfire risk in 2 decades. It follows a largely rainless winter and spring that have left vegetation tinder dry. I'm Nayan Kim.
News and analysis at townhall.com. The cost of borrowing for a home has eased just a bit.
Good news for home shoppers. Mortgage buyer Freddie Mac says the average rate on a 30-year mortgage fell this week to 6.89%. The pullback provides modest relief for borrowers at a time when home prices are at record highs. The average rate is still more than double what it was just 3 years ago. Elevated mortgage rates have discouraged many home shoppers, extending the nation's home sales slump into its 3rd year. Many economists are forecasting that mortgage rates will ease further in coming months. I'm Alex Vega.
New program to monitor swimmers and sharks off New York City beaches with surveillance drones, spurring a backlash from shorebirds. It seems they don't appreciate the drones invading their airspace, so they've been swarming the devices, forcing pilots to ground the drones. Those drones started to fly back in May, and for now at least, the patrols will continue along the beaches of New York. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
Your SRN program begins in 10 seconds.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3.
Tres Inviernos.
Of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Friday, everybody.
Yes.
Hope your Friday. Yes. Hope your Friday is going amazingly well.
Just one more week. Yep.
For you, right?
Heading to Denver.
That's right. Are you leaving next Friday?
It'll be, I think it's Friday. We leave out like stupid early and coming back Sunday.
Okay.
So I think, I'm not sure. I think either Friday afternoon or evening or Saturday morning/midday, we're going to the Meow Wolf up there. The Conversion Center is what it's called.
Okay.
So
cool. So have you been to that before?
I've never been to that one before.
I know you've been to the one in Santa Fe.
Yeah, it's kind of our goal is to hit all the Meow Wolves, but they're building them faster than we can go to them. There's like 2 new ones in Texas now.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's kind of interesting because didn't the guy that was like the creative side behind it pass away?
Well, okay, so that's
during COVID, didn't he?
One of them did. It's the idea for Meow Wolf is an art collective. It's like 100 or so different artists, and kind of their.
I thought there was like a money guy, and then there was the creative guy.
He's the guy who passed away. Was one of the more influential creative influences for the place. Like he was like the head artist, and then like a bunch of people came in and kind of realized his vision for what they wanted, and kind of put their own spin on it, made it happen.
Okay,
but he was like the innovator.
Okay,
the
so in essence,
originator.
All these new Meow Wolves are probably an homage to him.
Yeah, I would think
in
like
some way, shape, or form.
Almost like paying. Like this was his idea. Now let's fast track him.
Yeah, see, I always thought it was like that guy was the creative guy, and then there was the guy that actually had the money to make his art happen, kind of thing. So I guess it was a little bit different.
I'm assuming. I mean, that had to be a lot of money at first, because I know it's probably made its money back pretty easily several times over.
Is Santa Fe the original?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Santa Fe was the House of Eternal Return was the original Meow Wolf, and was for a time thought to be the only one. Like they were only going to do the one.
Right.
But it was such a success, and they got approached by the company's called Area 15.
Okay.
It's out of Las Vegas, and they were putting together essentially a complex, and they wanted Meow Wolf to be a part of it, and that's where Omega Mart was born.
Okay, so that was number 2.
Yeah, and once they expanded, they also sort of like expanded the story, because there's different ways to experience Meow Wolf. You can go in and just enjoy all the psychedelic cool stuff on the walls, or you can immerse yourself in the story.
Gotcha.
And so now they're building this like it's almost like the Meow Wolf cinematic universe, because they're all interconnected stories, but they're all telling their own story.
MWCU.
That's right. I had to think about that one. MWCU. Yeah, it's really an interesting visit if you've never been.
I've never.
It's a lot of fun.
One of these days, I do want to check it out and see it, because it does look kind of cool. All the photos and all the stuff I've seen on it looks pretty neat.
And I think unless things have changed, I think since you're a New Mexico resident, you actually get in for like $25 versus what it normally is.
Oh,
I think it's like $50 to get in.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, it's not cheap, but it's definitely worth it.
So how long are you in there for $50?
A couple hours.
Okay, so
it's your own adventure. You could go in for 10 minutes if you wanted to.
Okay.
You could spend all day there if you wanted to.
Okay.
There's people who...
But like for the average schmo, what would be the average time that they would find enjoyment and then be like, all right, I've had enough of this?
Couple hours. I would say once you've kind of, you visited every room, you've kind of had each of the experiences, unless you're somebody who's really immersed in the story. Because like I said, there's a whole, like, it's kind of like set up like an escape room. In order to get into this, like the story, and to get different clues or different elements to what happens next, you have to like decipher code. There's one room that's full of computers that have like their access to just a folder full of files, and you have to kind of like read through each one and get details. So it's really an immersive process if you put yourself through it.
Gotcha.
I can't do that. I do not have that kind of patience.
Yeah, that's my... And in all fairness, if it was me, myself, going through it, not having to wait on others and people and team building and teamwork, then I would dig it.
Yeah.
But the fact that others are involved, and then I have to listen to others and their opinions on art, that's where I'm like,
See, but
that's me just being a jerk. But I kind of,
it's not necessarily,
I don't have that patience to listen to other people's thoughts on these things.
It's not necessarily like a normal museum experience where you appreciate someone's artwork.
Yeah.
You're more like, like looking at just psychedelic stuff on the walls, or in the case of like Omega Mart, for example, there's a part where there's it's a clothes dryer that's set up in like a laundry room. Actually, I think this one's in Santa Fe. Yeah, this one's in Santa Fe. So there's like a clothes dryer, but you open the door of the dryer and it's a tunnel down to a whole other room. You know, and there's other parts that are like, there's like a wall and there's just one split in a wall and there's like a hallway that's like that big, but it leads to a completely different wing of the building.
Okay.
It's these two entrances, but they go completely different directions.
Gotcha. See, and what you described to me has like escape room vibes a little bit. And I know I've never done an escape room, but I know this enough about me that unless I'm the only one in the escape room, I'm probably not going to enjoy it.
I'm more just
if that
worried.
Makes sense.
I'm more just worried that I wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah.
Like I don't have.
And like if you just let me on my own devices and let me have my way and not people watching me and just the novelty of trying to figure it out sounds fun to me. But when it's a group activity and it's all the other thing, that's where I'm like, yeah, I'm out. I don't, because when I'm trying to figure out my process, the last thing I want is 12 people going, oh, it's behind the picture. Oh, maybe it's this. I'm like, shut up. Let me think here for a minute.
That may be where you and I differ because I kind of need that collaborative effort because when I'm left to my own devices, I don't know where to start.
Yeah.
So it's like if I have a start off point, it's like, okay, well, I need to pull this string and that's going to start the next chain of events. Then I can put things together.
Yeah.
But I kind of need a collective mindset to get through things.
I guess if I go in knowing that's what it's for, I'm an adult, I can navigate. But as far as if someone preferred what's the idea of fun, no, put me in there, just let me do it and see what happens. You know, I don't need a group telling me. I'm just like, all right, I'm in a room. How do I get out of this room? All right, let me do my logic and let me do my reasoning skills and let me triage this.
Well, then I know how Mike's going to spend his Halloween. I'm going to devise a room.
But
but if you're by yourself in an escape room, doesn't that just feel a little more like a torture chamber?
Well,
it's a team building exercise if there's a group there. If you're by yourself, you're like,
well, that's my problem.
I don't know what to do.
I'm not a team guy like that. Like I'm not that. I'm a loner. I like to work alone.
Sometimes I'm the same way, but on occasion, especially when my brain doesn't necessarily make cognitive connections like that. So, you know, half the time I just don't know where to look. If I have a friend or somebody who's there, is like, okay, in other scenarios, check the drawers, check for loose floorboards, check the books on the shelf to see if anything even do anything. So
I think most of it because what happens is when I get in those scenarios, I'm not an alpha dog. I back up when there's a group and the alpha dogs come and start alpha dogging. I don't play that role. I don't come in. I can be an alpha dog. I have the ability to. I choose. I don't like to, and I choose not to. So when I am alpha dog, it's when I'm by myself, and that's when I like being alpha dog. When there's, you know, let me do my thought process. Let me do my thing. Because quite frankly, what I think and do is not always the same as what, and some people probably some of the things I think are good, normal. Some other people probably think I'm a villain, you know, and I'm just like, no, I just know to get through a certain scenario, you've got to do these certain things, and that's what you got to do. And, and we live in a world where everyone tries to kumbaya everything, and I'm like, sometimes you can't kumbaya this. And that's where my escape room thing gets, where I get mad. I'm like, quick, trying to kumbaya something.
See, but I don't necessarily think of it as kumbaya. I kind of think about it as like controlled fighting with your friends. Like it allows you to kind of, you know, get upset with each other for about an hour and not take anything from it. I don't do that
well. I'm either you're on my team or I'm trying to destroy you. That's my mindset.
This is something I figured out. Yeah. If I'm given a time, like if I have to do anything that's timed, immediately my anxiety goes up to 12.
Sure.
Like I was just watching somebody play the game perfection. You know, put the pieces into the slot. Just watching somebody play that game gives me anxiety.
Well, you probably wouldn't like my job in the Air Force then.
Probably not.
Because that was to be certified to load aircraft, the bombs and missiles on the aircraft. Every month I had to go to what was called Load Barn. And it was a recertification.
My uncle went there once.
Yes. They have delicious yogurt. But no, we went to what they called Load Barn. And every month I had to recertify or prove my certification on loading explosives. And how they do that is you go in as your crew of 3 and you get timed and you have to load and get a jet ready for war in X amount of time.
Sure.
Depending on the load. It could be 30 minutes, could be 50 minutes, just depends on the loadout and what they got us doing. And it's high stress, high in, there's 3 people, one on each you watching every move you make. And anytime you wire the bomb wrong or put something wrong, you get docked. And if you don't pass, then guess what? You're not certified to do your job, and then you have to go sit and do various other things you don't want to do.
Menial tasks.
Till they and no one wants to be told they can't do their job because you're not good enough at it. And
You basically become, dang it, name just escaped. The guy in the first scene of Idiocracy.
Yeah.
Like, don't you think I should train him? I'm pretty sure he knows how to sit on his butt too. That's what you become if you just don't if you don't time out.
Exactly. And so
that just puts so much stress on
that
me.
was what I did for 4 years. And so every month I have to go in and certify and do all that stuff. And then once a year, I had to do it in front of the next level, the bigger, more important people. Where if you screw that one up, there's bigger ramifications.
Sure.
So, you might get like kicked out of your career field stuff, and that's never good when you have that kind of stuff on your resume. So
yeah, it don't bode well.
Yeah. So, so I'm just kind of used. So when I do get put in a group scenario where I'm like, no, I've done this where there's consequences and I don't like it. So I don't want your help.
My honest chicken on the chat, and that's actually a good point. With an escape room, usually it's one person. Each person takes like a wall or a section of the room, and they figure out the clues in that portion of the room to then come together to do the collaboration.
Yeah.
So it is a lot of working on your own to figure out, your own section.
Okay.
But then collaborating at the end to kind of put it all
but
together.
what happens when the one doesn't do it right?
That's
now you
me.
all blame him.
That's me.
Or her. Yeah.
I'm the one.
Yeah.
It's me.
So we're going to talk Roswell Public Library here. Caitlin Turner with the library going to join us here in just a few minutes. Give us an update on events and things happening at the library.
You can check out an adventure at the library.
You can. We are right in the midst of summer reading and all that.
Well, summer reading for sure, but you can.
Actually, we're about to wrap it up.
Give you a whole kit to go sightseeing. They'll give you a kit to go on a mountain bike tour. They do so much cool stuff at that Roswell Public Library.
There you go. But
your cards.
they're in the midst of summer reading. I think it does wrap up at the end of the month here, so you got a little bit of time left to
get them books
to get in and participate here. But we'll get the update from Caitlin in just a few.
If you're behind in the summer reading program, you might want to book it.
I was waiting for like a ketchup reference, but yours is way better. All right, it's 19 minutes after 9 o'clock. Let's go ahead and get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We've got dry air back over eastern New Mexico, so little or no chance of rain for the upcoming weekend. Pretty hot today. We'll be in the upper 90s and sunny with fairly light wind. Overnight will be clear with upper 60s and low 70s, and then sunny and hot again on Saturday. Upper 90s for the high. It looks like we'll be up around 100 with sunshine coming up for Sunday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Good. Thank you, Steve. Currently 81 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 33%. Sorry, I need thicker glasses. Winds are calm at the moment. Sunny today. Expect a high of 98. Winds will be out of the south, 5 to 10 miles per hour. If you're a fan of that, you're probably going to put that on repeat for the next 3 days here. So Saturday, we're looking more of the same. Sunny skies, hot, 98 for a high. Winds out of the south, 5 to 15 miles per hour. Sunday, sunny and hot, 99 for a high. Winds out of the south, 5 to 15 miles per hour. Monday, we're going to be sitting at 100 for a high under sunny skies. And then Tuesday, and pretty much looks like the rest of next week, we're going to be looking at slight rain chances, like a 20% Tuesday, 30% Tuesday night, 30% on Wednesday, 40% Wednesday night. So we'll see. It's monsoon seasonal rain chances, so we'll see how that shapes up. All right, it is 21 minutes after 9 o'clock. We're going to take a quick 2.5-minute break, and then Caitlin Turner with the Roswell Public Library will join us, and we'll talk all about their upcoming events and things, including summer reading programs. So don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Summertime fun is almost done, and you know what that means.
Oh, back to school.
Roswell Honda's Back to School Bash, Saturday, July 27th from 10 to 1. Register your kids now for the free backpack giveaway. Then join Roswell Honda Saturday, July 27th for free hot dogs, ice cold Pepsi products, plus face painting, snow cones, jolly jumps, and prizes galore. But that's not all. Roswell Honda will be giving away backpacks chock full of school supplies. Spaces won't last, so sign up fast. The Back to School Bash, Saturday, July 27th at Roswell Honda, 2177 West 2nd.
Hey, this is Jennifer from Trustmark Roofing. Every storm chaser's worst nightmare. You know storm chasers, those out-of-town roofers that descend on neighborhoods after big storms. They come in, do a crummy job, then poof, they're gone forever. Well, a few years ago, our area had a hailstorm, and right on cue, storm chasers showed up. I was driving home from work one evening and saw one talking to an elderly lady on her porch. I said, "Not today, buddy." I did a U-turn, pulled in the driveway, and walked right up to them. I warned the woman who they were talking to, and I chased away the storm chaser. The woman's daughter called me later and said a storm chaser ripped them off a few years ago. She thanked me for stopping this one and chose Trustmark for her roof. Trustmark Roofing. Every storm chaser's nightmare. Every homeowner's champion. Call today for your 20% off coupon for our spring and roof gutter maintenance service. 575-755-ROOF. Or visit TrustmarkRoofPros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
The second blessing in Jesus' Sermon on the Mount reads like this: Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. The mourning he speaks of here is more than just being sad about something. This is a deep grief and regret, often over the sin in your life. It ties directly to the previous blessing of being poor in spirit. If you're poor in spirit, you know that you fall short of doing life on your own without God. This next blessing takes that thought one step further. If we know we can't do life without God, we also realize we can't get out of our sinful state without God. We know that we failed, and when we're truly repentant and want to overcome the sin, God will comfort us in our grief by showing us His grace and forgiveness. He'll give us the strength to overcome. He brings the comfort of those who have been where you are and allows them to support you in the midst of your brokenness. Lean on those who want to bring that comfort of our Savior to you.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Men are 6 times more likely to be struck by lightning than women. That's because men are 6 times more likely to wear a tinfoil hat in a thunderstorm. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 24 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from the Roswell Public Library, Caitlin Turner back with us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm doing well.
Good deal. So I imagine this is kind of arguably the busiest time of the year generally for the library, with the kids out for the summer, and so the summer reading program every year, so that almost every week there's tons of activities and obviously the reading program encouraging the kids and adults to read books and earn prizes here. But, you know, on top of that, there's almost every week just, you know, between magic shows and different special events. So pretty busy summer for you guys right now.
Yeah, it's been really busy and really exciting around the library.
Good deal. So if you're looking for, you know, we got a couple more weeks before the kids are going to be back in the classrooms again here. So if you're looking for a last hurrah here for the summer, please let the Roswell Public Library be your aid in helping keeping your kids entertained and educated during the summer months here. So, but we are coming up on some deadlines for summer reading program, right?
Yes. You can sign up until the very last day.
Sure. But if you want the full experience of getting your reading requirements in, you're going to have to allot some time to do that. Unless you're some kind of crazy speed reader we've never heard of before.
Yeah. I mean, if you still sign up, you can still come in and get the weekly prizes. So kids will get a pick from the treasure box for the books that they read.
Yeah.
And the teens will be able to get tickets to enter into a raffle, to get a gift card for a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
The adults, you get to put in however many books you check out, you get tickets. If you
Gotcha.
come in and check out 15 books, you'll get 15 tickets.
So if you can cram all in 1 week, then you but ideally we were hoping you space it over the course of the summer here, so you're not make it like work. You know? But so you got a little bit of time now. If I remember right, and if I'm wrong, this wraps up here at the end of July, around July 31st time frame. Is that about right?
Yes, the 31st is the last day to turn in the reading passports and the teen bingo cards.
Okay.
To enter in for the big raffle.
So if you signed up here about a month ago in the start of June here, and you've been kind of not keeping up with some of your stuff, get that done because we're a couple weeks away from the summer reading program ending. And if you want to get full credit for your achievements you did, you got to turn that stuff in and stuff. So her staff and everybody can get you your prizes and all the stuff you've earned for reading. So, but that being said, we still got lots of activities between now and the end of the summer reading program here at the end of the month. So please, if you're just hearing about it or you're just like, oh man, I missed the first, no worries. Come down, sign up today. We can still have another couple weeks of fun and entertainment and education for kids and adults. So don't just because we're halfway through doesn't mean you have to stop. Come and continue and discover all the cool things the library has to offer for you there. So that being said, do you want to talk some events and things we got coming up here? Or, I know I didn't mean to mess up your calendar here. I'm just, my brain just kind of works one way sometimes here. But do we want to kind of put some events on people's radars here to kind of invite them to come out and participate in?
Yeah. So our summer schedule, we're still continuing throughout July. We have movies and popcorn every Friday. So today at 11 a.m., we have a movie playing. Let me double check which movie it is.
See what our
Ooh, The Missing Link. If you want to come watch that, eat some popcorn, we have that. Tomorrow we have the Charlie Cart program.
Okay.
Which is really fun. They're making berry compote parfait.
Oh, so you get to do some eating.
Yes.
While you're having some fun, and that'll be tomorrow. Do they need to pre-register for any of this, or just show up, get there maybe a couple minutes before the time event? That way we got enough here, and don't, if you do come a little late, that's okay, but allow yourself enough time to participate in the program.
Yeah, it's a walk-in class, so yeah, it's nice. The kids get to learn how to cook, and we have the Charlie Cart is amazing. This mobile cooking station that we have.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen this yet. So is it like a full-on kitchen and a cart, pretty much?
Yeah, it has a sink and
so it's
water.
way better than like the easy bake ovens from back in the day.
Yes. Not even back in the day. I got my daughter one this year.
They still have those?
Christmas.
I didn't know they still made those. I thought they died in the 80s there. I didn't know they still were going.
I get to eat tiny burnt little cookies all the time.
Oh, is it still the light bulb that makes them?
It
They haven't updated the technology or anything?
They have not.
No. Okay.
Yes, no.
So in about 7.5 hours, you can have a cake or cake-like product.
Very thin.
But the Charlie Cart's way more advanced than that. This thing, we could grill up foods and do all kinds of stuff.
Yes, it's pretty cool.
Nice. Y'all, now I'm curious. Do you guys ever forget lunch and just be like, "Hey, fire up the Charlie Cart. We'll make lunch for everybody here."
I don't. So
no, but it may have happened in the past at the time or two. But very cool. So coming in, they're going to be doing the what kind of parfaits?
Berry compote.
Very, very summery type, and it's going to be pushing 100 again tomorrow. So a nice berry compote might be cool and refreshing here during that time. So good deal. So what time are they doing that?
11 a.m.
11 a.m. So you can come have breakfast and then come have a pre-lunch with a berry compote. Cool. What else we got?
So we are doing the Mother Goose on the Loose on Tuesdays in the summer.
Okay.
So that's we have one at 10:30.
Okay.
And then we have a bilingual Mother Goose on the Loose at
Excellent.
5.
And these are geared for preschool and elementary age kids.
The Mother Goose is newborn to 3-year-old.
Okay.
And then the preschool story hour and music and movement we've moved to Wednesday.
Okay.
And so that's starts at 10:30.
Okay.
So that's from ages 3 to.
Gotcha. A little bit older there. And as I say every time when Caitlin or anybody's here talking about it, I encourage you to take your child to both the bilingual and the English versions of those, regardless of what their first language is. The kids at that age, they're sponges, and there's enough studies and tests and everybody out there that's done research to prove that if you want your kid to excel at foreign language and those types of things, the earlier you expose them and teach them that kind of stuff, the more likely they're going to succeed in learning it and knowing it and understanding it. So even if your kid doesn't speak Spanish, go to the Spanish story time. Bless you, and that way they can get you. they can get exposed to that stuff, and quite frankly, in case you haven't noticed, you lived in Southeast New Mexico, a very multicultural area. Might just be a little bit easier in life if they can fluently speak Spanish and English living in this part of the country. Yes. So, and I would even do it. Obviously we kind of focus more on Spanish and English here because that's what most of people in the culture around this speak, but do the same thing with other languages. You want to teach a kid Russian or Chinese or something like that? By God, expose them to an owl on that kind of stuff. So anyway, I always go away talking too much on these, but I want to encourage, come take your kids to the story time. Let them, the younger, the better. Even though they can't read, again, studies show that if you're reading to kids, reading to babies, that's why it's so important you tell your kids stories at night, even when they're infants and newborns and technically don't even understand your story. That the hearing it, the repetition of it, that's all they're absorbing that. And when it's time to actually learn the letters and numbers, they have that much more familiarity with it, and they generally transition a lot better than children that weren't exposed to that kind of stuff. So please add it to the repertoire. So sorry, go ahead. I get my soapboxes every time because this is the important stuff. If you're trying to raise your child, these are the things, the tools you got to give them to succeed at whatever interests and desires they have when they're old enough to pick that kind of stuff. So, but anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and on Wednesdays as well, we do have the pause and pages.
Yeah.
You're going to read to the therapy dogs.
And that's a fun program. You guys been doing this for about a year or two now or something? It's relatively new. It's not. And if you're not familiar, basically it gives a chance for kids to read stories to pets, to the dogs. I think some of the DA dogs, maybe some of the Casa dogs, kind of come and hang out at the library and just lay around being dogs. And the kids get to love on the dogs and read them a story. And it works great because now they get to practice reading out loud and reading skills. And dogs don't care if they mess up the words or don't get it right. They're just happy to be loved on. And so it's a win-win. The kids can practice oral and reading out loud in a judgment-free environment here. So it's a great program.
It
so
is.
Come check it out. But when's that next one?
3 p.m. on Wednesdays.
So every Wednesday at 3 you can come and pet dogs, and so don't wear clothes you don't mind getting pet hair on. If you're like worried about your best dress, maybe not wear that to the event because you probably get some dog hair on it.
Yes, it's hard not to love them.
That's right. You can't. I'm that guy. I almost to a fault. Where I start rolling around the floor with people's dogs and stuff, and they're probably like, "Dude, I don't think I want you to." I just can't help it. I'm like a child when dogs. But sorry, go ahead. What's next on the list here?
So yeah, every Thursday we've been having a special event. So our last 2 Thursdays, let's see, this next coming Thursday on the 18th, we have Polka Mike Schneider coming.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's going to be playing some polka music and having a little concert.
Nice. So get your polka on.
Yeah, and that's at 10:30 a.m.
Cool. And if you're not familiar with polka, then make this your first chance to see live polka music. And obviously most people think of the accordion as one of the major instruments of the polka. And guess what? For folks, because we talk about regional Mexican music, and the accordion is very much a part of that. It is relevant in other parts of other styles of music other than regional Mexican and Latin culture. Those Europeans have been doing polka with these things for many moons now. So come check it out. And when's that again?
At 10:30 a.m. on Thursday the 18th.
Very good. So that'll be next Thursday, I think.
Yes.
So come on out and get your polka on, and lederhosen optional.
Yeah, and the following Thursday on the 25th at 11, we're going to have the Explorer Museum coming with their Mini Explorer exhibition. So,
okay, what kind of stuff do they bring?
All kinds of just fun, interactive.
Okay, is it like sciencey stuff? Yes. Okay, so rocks and earth elements and things stuff you can touch and see and smell and feel and all that good stuff. Cool.
Yeah, it should be really exciting.
Nice.
Science, technology, just STEM and art.
Okay.
Activities for the kids. And that'll be our last person that we bring in on Thursdays for the summer program.
That's kind of the last official big event for this year's summer reading program here. But that doesn't mean there's not, every week there's stuff going on.
Oh, yeah.
There's something, even though there's not the tent pole special guest coming in. Every week there's the story times, there's the, reading to the dogs. Monthly you have your different, I still think like the 4-H folks come in every month, and the master gardeners come in every month. And do the chess players still come in every month too, or are they taking a little? Sometimes these groups take hiatus during the summer because they go on vacation and they pick back up in the fall here. But there's so much going on, and I would even throw this out: if you want to start maybe a Saturday club out at the library, maybe because we have our crocheters, we have our quilters, we have our chess players, we have our STEM folks. Maybe maybe there's some, I don't know, lapidary or who knows? I mean, the sky's the limit here. A collective group of something that people are interested in, talk with the library. Maybe we can set up a monthly thing where they come in on Saturdays and do, I don't know, cross stitch for an hour or two.
Yeah, and I have the perfect location for that because the Makerspace is now open.
It's now official, so you can kind of come in and create your own thing with the Makerspace.
Yes, yeah. So the Makerspace will be open on Mondays through Thursdays, 10 to 5.
Okay.
And on Saturdays and Sundays. So Sundays when the library's open, 2 to 5, and on Saturdays 10 to 2.
Okay. Now, how deep in making things can they go with this stuff? Is arts and crafts stuff, or can they get in there with like bandsaws and like carpentry? Like, how far do they go with some of this stuff?
We do have the equipment you have to be certified on. We have 3D printers. We have 2 3D printers. We have a glow forge, which is a laser cutter and engraver.
So some pretty high tech equipment in this thing. It's not just scissors and glue and scented markers.
Yeah. So we do have a Cricut cutting machine and heat press. So scrapbookers out there.
So high tech stuff too. So if you need some like laser cutting, or if you're scrapbooking and doing those things, you've got the professional tools that the big guns use to do these things. So come check it out. It's all fully functional and ready here. Now, I imagine, like you said, you have to get checked out, and so they just don't turn you loose with the 3D printer. You got to have some formal training and making sure that you're not going to blow the thing up on us here. I'm sure they're quite expensive, so they want to take care of it.
Well, we have four pieces of equipment that you'll need a certification training. You just sign up with me and take a 20 to 45 minutes training.
And you're an artist, so were you pretty well versed on these, or did you have to get up to speed on some of them before they turned you loose on them?
I'm pretty well versed in everything, but the glow forge until we got one, and then I've had a year to play with it.
Okay.
So
for folks that don't know, when Caitlin's not a librarian, she's an artist and loves to create art and do art and on many different mediums. So I figured you've probably sampled almost all that equipment in your personal life at some time or another here too. So very cool. So I'm sure that's probably why you're in charge of it. I'm sure all the other librarians not it. Oh, Caitlin, you've done this before. You're it. Or was this your creation? Was this something because now that I think about it, because of the way your brain and art and all that, maybe this is your baby and you started it.
It is.
There it is. It could go in two directions here.
It is. So I'm happy to have it open. I'm happy to have everybody get to experience it. And even if you don't want to use the certified equipment, we have tons of stuff in there. Like
so if you just want to come in there and doodle, so to speak, or just do things and see what happens. And that's the beauty of art. You can formalize it as much as you want, or just turn it loose and see what comes of it. And that's the beauty of art.
Yeah, and we have Arduinos in there. If you want to learn how to code and program, we've got Arduinos that you can come and play with.
Excellent. So if you want to start, and that's a great opportunity if if you're thinking, I would love to be a game builder or a software designer or something like that, but you've never had the chance to experience what that involves, maybe come to the library, use that as a source, and that way that'll either cement your love for it or give you a say, you know what, this is not what I thought it was. I need to try something else. Mm-hmm. Either way, it's certainly a lot easier to do it at the library than year 2 of graphic design school when you realize that that's not your thing.
Yes.
So come check it out.
Yeah. And all you need is a library card and in good standing.
Yep. So. Free of charge. And that's everything we talk about. With these obviously for the summer reading program, you got to get a library card to check out books and everything, because the books that you count towards your reading and stuff are books from the library. That's kind of the whole point of the summer reading program is to get you out of your safe spaces and coming to the library and finding new books to read and learn and explore. That's the whole point of this adventure. So you do need a library, but it's all free of charge. As long as you turn your books in on time and everything's free of charge. And there's so many resources that you can utilize free of charge with your library card in good standing, and not even technically have to set foot in the library. You can go online and utilize all the online resources, whether it's for tutoring or you need periodicals or music and movies and other stuff. All of that's available to you free of charge through the library, because you went down and got yourself a library card and did that for free. So please get the card and take advantage of it, because there's probably a lot of stuff that you just paid a bunch of money for and realize you probably could have got for free at the library. Just say it. Yeah. Just say it. Yes. So it might behoove you to take advantage of all this stuff, especially if you've got a family. If you're an adult without kids, you get one too, because you're going to find enough. But if you're trying to figure out what to do with the family every weekend and creating adventures and experiences for your children, if you're not using the library as a tool to help you do that, you're really hamstringing yourself and handcuffing yourself to doing a good job on that. So please come and utilize it. Get the card. We're still in the summer months. You guys still have the New Mexico Department of Tourism pass that is available for people on a first come first served basis, and it's a pass that allows up to 6 people into various historic and art experiences and nature experiences around the state. Everything from like the Museum of the Horse to I think some of the art museums in Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Lincoln County is on there. Mm-hmm. And for free, you get this pass for 7 days, and you can go to these places and get in up to 6 people for free on some of these different things. Like I know, like for Lincoln, I think it costs an average about $15 a person. Yeah. So 6 people, that's a lot of money you're saving right there. It is. And that's the cheaper one. I'm sure if you get into some of these art museums and things, it's a lot more than $15 per person here. Now, the rules are you can't pre-check it out. You can't renew it. It's available first come, first serve. But good news is you guys have a bunch of copies in the desk, so rarely do you run out of them. And so if you say you got a trip this weekend, you're heading out to, I don't know, Santa Fe this weekend. Come to the library today, check out that, and then go experience those things. Then when you get back from your trip, hopefully within 7 days, turn it back in, and then it'll be available for the next person. But trust me, if you're out doing your road trips and seeing the state, go down there and ask about it, because no matter what part of the state you're going to, there's probably something on that pass that you can get into free on something to check out.
For sure.
So definitely utilize it. And it's all cool stuff, all arts, cultural, historical, nature. Like if you love rocks and stuff, there's stuff for there. If you love cowboy and old history, there's stuff there. If you love science and technology, there's stuff there. Or if you love art and that kind of stuff, language and all that. I think like petroglyphs might even be some of those ancient historical places are available too. So it runs the gamut. So get it for free.
Yeah.
Expose your family to all this cool culture for free.
Yes. Yeah. Go check it out.
What else did we miss here? What else did we supposed to talk about that I overshadowed for other things?
On August 1st, we're having a pretty interesting and cool event. We're having an author's talk and book signing.
Okay.
And it's Kurt House and Roy B. Young talking about their book, Chasing Billy the Kid.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so an adventure of them kind of turning over some of the, I'm guessing, fact and fiction about Billy the Kid that has cropped up over the years here.
Yeah, it's the untold story of the manhunt for William H. Booney. Billy the Kid.
Well, and I don't know how familiar you are with that history, but there's a lot of controversy there too, where, the story goes he was killed by Pat Garrett in Fort Sumner here, a few miles north of us here. And then he's buried there at Fort Sumner with the pals. If you ever seen the Young Gun movies, there's kind of a loose history of that, a little Hollywoodized, but a loose history there. But there's many people that believe that's not what happened. And, then there was the Bushy Bill stuff where this guy in Texas claimed he was Billy the Kid and he lived. And so there's so much story surrounding that. So it's a chance to kind of cut through all of the lore and claims and see the real scoop on who did what to whom and where and when and why and how. So I imagine if you love the Billy the Kid lore and history, you probably want to make sure you're in attendance for this author meet and greet and book signing event here too.
Yeah, and at the same event, there's going to be an artist presentation and artwork unveiling of Duke Sund.
Okay.
And there are bronze sculptures.
Okay.
By the Spring River Corridor Foundation has brought this in.
Okay.
So it's historical sculpture garden at Calhoun Park, but they're unveiling the sculptures
at the library.
At the library.
So then you can come see them in their, I guess, natural habitat out at Calhoun Park, but come see the unveiling at the library. And what's the date on on this for these events?
So this is going to happen August 1st,
Okay.
on Thursday, from 4 to 6 p.m.
So a couple weeks away. Again, free events. Just come, first come, first serve kind of thing. Generally speaking, normally when you have like a book, an author meet and greet type things, that's when the friends of the library, they usually do refreshments and all that stuff. So there'll be light refreshments and snacks usually at these kind of things. And of course, your chance to meet and greet the authors and pick their brains directly and hear all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's an afternoon of art, literature, and history.
Absolutely.
So it should be a lot of fun.
All rolled into one. And especially when you get into New Mexico, that Lincoln County War era and Billy the Kid, that's where that history gets, it's hard to separate the accounts of what people thought they saw versus, it's like fish stories. Everyone, by the time that story, when it first happened, it was a little thing. And by some 150 years later, now that fish is Moby Dick size. So, you know what I mean? That's kind of what you're dealing with some of the Billy the Kid stuff and all that too.
Yeah.
And plus you're also combating the period of which they lived. There was very popular form of entertainment that time for the dime store novels, where these quote unquote, authors would follow the accounts of some of these guys and then create a artistically licensed version of some of their adventures. And some of that got preached as gospel. So then you hear these stories of Billy the Kid or Pat Garrett or the Frank and Jesse James doing their things, and you're like, some of it's real, but a lot of it's kind of the artistic flair of these dime store novels and stuff. So you have to separate a lot of that. And so that's why I think when you come out for that author talk, you're going to get a lot of the delineation between the dime store stories versus the actual eyewitness accounts of people that were there and did the things they did. So but anyway, that's what makes it cool and interesting, is to kind of separate some of that stuff. So again, that's August 1st at the library.
Yes.
Good deal. What else we got?
I think that's
Did we get it all?
Yes.
But you still got time to sign up for the summer reading program. Come by this morning to the Roswell Public Library. Sign up. And if you do not have a a library card in good standing, we'll start you there and get you that signed up and everything else. And I always like to tell people, especially with your kids, make a big deal out of the library card thing. You know how we always kind of do that transition as a transition to certain adulthood-like things. And generally, there's always that time where you're giving your kid their purse or wallet or their first, thing to hold important things like, that kind of stuff. I always like to, turn that moment into your library card thing, because they generally don't have IDs and all kinds of stuff to stick in there at that time. Maybe some membership cards at some club they're into or some Marvel thing. But, the first thing where they use of importance is that library card. And so it kind of, to me, that's just a natural transition. You're giving them their first adult purse or wallet or whatever it is. And you say, let's go get you a library card to put in this thing. And then you start teaching them that. And to be honest, that's that transition where they, in some cases, that's their first adult moment where it's like, what do you mean? I get to pick my own book. I get to kind of do my own thing, and treat it as such. Treat it like a big deal like that, because I guarantee if you do, your child will have a much greater appreciation and desire to want to be at the library. If you turn it into like an exclusive club experience type, something that they want, then guess what? They're going to be begging you to come to the library and check out books and read books and use their card and do all that kind of stuff. So I always recommend families do that kind of thing with it to help foster and encourage that love of reading and that love of utilizing the library, hopefully the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Great idea.
Excellent. Well, thank you as always, and we appreciate it. And if we need to get some outside of these, or by the way, I know you like to do your art stuff, and if you got any art things you want to let the public know about, please don't hesitate to reach out, and we'll help you share that stuff with the public here and all that too.
Awesome.
Good deal. Thank you. Have a good weekend. Don't work too hard, and I bet your weekends are busier than your week sometimes.
I'm just busy all the time.
She's like, I don't know the difference between a weekend and a week. It's all one day.
Yeah,
I just call it busy day. Yeah. It's like whether it's Friday, Saturday, Thursday, it's busy day. So good deal. Well, thank you as always. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
All right. It is 9:50. Let's pause for a local news update, Hannity update, Wall Street business update, and a few commercials to pay for lunch. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Now, your Pecos Valley News Update. I'm Jared Sorello. Street construction to improve pavement and install ADA ramps on Hobbs Street between Southeast Main Street and Sunset Avenue in Roswell is now scheduled to begin July 22nd. This will require the closure of some lanes at various times, but at least one lane in each direction will remain open throughout the work. The project was originally scheduled to begin July 10th. Members of the Navajo Nation will gather this Saturday to mark 45 years since the largest radioactive release in U.S. history. The release took place at Church Rock, July 16, 1979, when a dam ruptured and released more than 1,000 tons of radioactive waste and nearly 95 million gallons of toxic radioactive waste water. That water spilled into the nearby Rio Puerco and surrounded Navajo Nation lands. To this day, communities around the spill experience health problems associated with radiation exposure. A Stanford University study determined that United Nuclear Corporation removed only about 1% of the estimated total spill and resumed normal operations within 5 months. The Church Rock release is the third largest radioactive release globally, behind only the Fukushima disaster in Japan and Chernobyl meltdown in Russia. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
Your morning espresso starts right here. It's the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
You know, we're finding ourselves at a time where 3 weeks ago, Barack Obama, George Clooney knew beyond any doubt, and they never thought that it would be the right thing to do to tell the American people that the President of the United States is a cognitive wreck and he's not up to the job. And then they had the audacity to allow anybody that pointed out a real unedited video to be called a liar and a propagandist for showing Joe Biden unedited being escorted off the stage at that very same event. They're just a bunch of pathetic propagandists and liars. You know, it was all an act. This is liberal Hollywood. This is the power elite.
The Sean Hannity Show from coast to coast later today.
You know, out of all the things we can do to maintain and protect our homes, you know what? Getting up on a ladder, cleaning out the gutters, that's the last thing anyone wants to do. I know, I've done it. And right now you can save up to 30% off your entire purchase when you go to leaffilter.com/Hannity. An investment in Leaf Filter is an investment engineered to protect your entire home. Now, the beauty of Leaf Filter is they take care of everything start to finish. Every installation comes with a free inspection, free estimate, and a lifetime guarantee. Now, a Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will clean out, realign, seal your gutters before installing Leaf Filter. Protect your home and never clean out gutters ever again with Leaf Filter. They're America's #1 gutter protection system. And schedule your free inspection. Get up to 30% off your entire purchase when you go to leaffilter.com/Hannity. That's a free inspection up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/Hannity. And do it today. Hey.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We've got dry air back over eastern New Mexico, so little or no chance of rain for the upcoming weekend. Pretty hot today. We'll be in the upper 90s and sunny with fairly light wind. Overnight will be clear with upper 60s and low 70s, and then sunny and hot again on Saturday. Upper 90s for the high. It looks like we'll be up around 100 with sunshine coming up for Sunday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason. Wholesale prices rose by a larger than expected 2.6% last month from a year earlier, a sign that inflation remains a stubbornly persistent problem despite the Federal Reserve's efforts to rein it in. J.P. Morgan Chase reports profits jumped sharply in the second quarter as the bank cashed in billions of dollars of its holdings in Visa. But the bank's results were also helped by higher interest rates, as well as consumers who still seem willing to spend, despite uncertain economic times. A 2022 security breach compromised the data of nearly all of AT&T's cellular customers. Also affected, customers of mobile virtual network operations using AT&T's wireless network, as well as landline customers who interacted with those cellular numbers. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason.
Attention Roswell and surrounding areas. Celebrate freedom. Celebrate huge savings with 0% financing, more for your trade, and no payments till October during the Red, White, and Blue sales event at the all-new Roswell Ford. With new management and a whole new attitude, Roswell Ford makes trading up to a new Ford or quality pre-owned vehicle fast, fun, and easy. Upside down in your loan or stuck in your lease, Roswell Ford wants to get you released, even if you owe thousands more than your trade is worth, regardless of make, miles, or condition. Right now, get huge savings with rates as low as 0% for 66 months. Plus, we have a great selection of low-mileage, one-owner pre-owned vehicles, all in prime condition, starting at just $10,000. Don't settle for a low-quality, overpriced clunker. Buy a quality pre-owned vehicle from Roswell Ford for a lot less. Worried about your credit? Don't sweat it. We've partnered with the most aggressive lenders that will push to approve you today, even with bad or no credit. Lower prices, exceptional trade-in values, and a better buying experience. Get on board at Roswell Ford, 821 North Main Street in beautiful Roswell, or online at roswellford.com. $15.15 per thousand financed on select new Ford models with approved credit.
Martine's Capital Cafe in Roswell offers authentic and highly rated New Mexico food. Explore their amazing menu featuring huevos rancheros or asado with eggs or their green chili stew. And you can't forget their award-winning green chili cheeseburger, all made from scratch using their finest and freshest ingredients. Open for carryout with curbside delivery or limited dine-in. Just call ahead 624-2111. Martine's Capital Cafe, always pleasing the most refined palate. Open Monday through Saturday from 6 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. at 110 West 4th in Roswell.
Edge Safety and Services, LLC in Artesia, New Mexico has an immediate opening for roustabout crew and a safety technician. Position requires a clean driving record and must be able to pass a drug and alcohol screening. Edge Safety offers great pay with IRA benefits and employer contribution towards health benefits. Please email resumes to edgecoding@yahoo.com or apply in person at 2801 North Freeman in Artesia. Edge Safety and Services is an equal opportunity employer.
The second blessing in Jesus' Sermon on the Mount reads like this: Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. The mourning he speaks of here is more than just being sad about something. This is a deep grief and regret, often over the sin in your life. It ties directly to the previous blessing of being poor in spirit. If you're poor in spirit, you know that you fall short of doing life on your own without God. This next blessing takes that thought one step further. If we know we can't do life without God, we also realize we can't get out of our sinful state without God. We know that we failed, and when we're truly repentant and want to overcome the sin, God will comfort us in our grief by showing us His grace and forgiveness. He'll give us the strength to overcome. He brings the comfort of those who have been where you are and allows them to support you in the midst of your brokenness. Lean on those who want to bring that comfort of our Savior to you.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. You burn more calories sleeping than you do watching television. For the ultimate workout, fall asleep in front of the TV. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 9:59. We're wrapping up today's show. If you missed any part, check it out at your leisure. Log on to ksvptv.com. We spent most of the show talking about our New Kids on the Block concert, but we did have a great interview with Caitlin Turner from the Roswell Public Library just a few minutes ago. It is available, or will be available in its entirety after the show here. Just log on to ksvptv.com. Don't forget, last day to get your reservations in for the Heritage Dinner. Call the Historical Society to do so, 622-8333. Have an amazing weekend. We'll be back bright and early, 7 a.m. on Monday. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll talk to you.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com.